Whoa.
Stream is starting. The Captain Coder at the helm. Bean water is ready. Today we will learn a lot. He loves the questions. He loves the sing.
Sidian, are you ready?
Join our Discord.
Are you ready, Sidian?
Follow him.
Where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be? Captain Coder here on this beautiful day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you happen to be wherever you happen to be in the way. Wherever you happen to be in the way. I know you're in the way. I'm just kidding. Welcome aboard. Happy, well, I can't talk this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever to be in the world. Captain Coder here on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. JD with the eye. Oh my goodness, it's peering into my soul. It's peering into my soul. It's peering into my soul. My soul. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you happen to be in the world. Captain Coder here on this beautiful Monday. JD, welcome to the stream. What was that, an AI song? Justin 6. I believe so. I believe it is an AI generated song. That was created by us for Sidian. What's going on with my beard here? I have like an extra dark spot. Interesting. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. Justin 6, so great to have you here. It's so wonderful to have the whole crew with us. My AI song hits harder. JD, maybe, but does it make you feel, yeah, the Raider song, does it help ease you into learning? Does it help ease you into learning, or maybe it gets you hyped up? I'm not sure it does. This is just like, so, the stream is starting. Captain Coder at the helm. It gets the blood pumping. See, I'm not necessarily going for blood pumping. Maybe I'm going for like, let's relax. It's 4 a.m. Let's just wake up a little bit, get moving. I don't need to get pumped up. I don't need to get pumped. That's what my coffee's for. The music industry is screwed. Maybe Justin 6. I'm not sure. I've played around with the AI generator a little bit. What is that? Hang on. Mr. Mard, welcome to the stream. I don't quite understand. My favorite AI music is that country song about having it. We're gonna skip on that one just for now because I don't know what we're talking about there. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't know. So I'm not sure how PG-11 teen friendly it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. Syrian guitars, the world is on fire. JD does dev code breaking Messiah. It's true. Look, if you guys want to go watch the code breaking Messiah, you gotta go check out JD does dev, folks. Gotta go check out JD does dev. So wonderful to have the whole crew here with us on this beautiful day. Oryx, congratulations on your #1. Exclamation point first to see your rank. Get those bonus points. You know you want them. You know you need them. You know you can't live without a Muniz. Thank you so much for being here, Code Monk. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here on these beautiful mornings with me. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Idrin, it's great to see you. I'm glad you're back from your conference. I'm glad your conference was interesting. It sounds like it went well. Yeah, I don't know, Mr. Mart. I just never know. I just never know. Code Monk, climbing those ranks. You've only been like, wow. Wow, Code Monk, 127,000 points. You're going to be first before you know it. Before you know it, BK, it's always a pleasure to have you here. When do you start your new job? BK, what have you been doing to prep for your job? Are you prepping for your job? What have you been doing in your time? I hope things are going awesome. JD, it's a pleasure to have you back here. Nameless Coder, welcome into the stream. Sigian, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Justin, do you have a specific plan for what you want to learn every day? Are you going to learn art stuff or just programming? I want to learn a bunch of new things. Blender is on my list of things to learn about. Blender, 3D stuff, I've sort of fallen back. You get every day a little bit closer. Every day, Code Monk, a little bit closer. I really want to learn a little bit more about 3D modeling. Visual scripting in Unity is on my list. I want to learn a little bit of GD script. I haven't done anything with GD script yet. I want to play around with Game Maker a little bit more as well. I want to learn all kinds. There's so many things to learn in so little time. We're going to try and make as many little prototypes as we can. Well, I'm still in school. I'm still in school right now. So we have a few weeks left. So I'm trying not to get into anything that's going to distract me too much. So we've been playing with visual scripting. We started playing with visual scripting in Unity yesterday. But I'm open to suggestions as well. The Blender, I really want to take a crack at learning a little bit more about Blender. Siler, it's so wonderful to have you here. G, enjoy your lurk. Spoof, enjoy your lurk. Justin 6, I'm so glad you're here with us. Mr. Mard, happy Monday, my friend. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here with me, making my morning wonderful. Any day I can wake up and code with the crew is a beautiful today, and today is a beautiful day. And we're gonna hop in, folks. We're gonna hop right in. I want to make a little JD, I might need, maybe we should do a collab, JD, and you can teach me a little bit about Blender because I know nothing. I don't even know how to download it. How do I even download it? Last time I tried to download a Blender, my hand got caught in it and it messed. Oh, it hurt. It hurt. The Blender. Look, I tried to download the Blender and it cut my fingers up a little bit. So don't try and download a Blender into your hand. Don't stick your hand. Anyway. I think you got to download it from a website somewhere. That's right. So what are we going to work on today? I want to go back to one of my very first Unity projects. And I want to see if I can do a little bit with visual scripting. One of my very first Unity projects I did on stream was making a little space shooter game. And I didn't know anything about Unity. I knew so little. And you can, like, if we go back to the YouTube Captain Coder Live, this is one of my most watched video series here. We go to my playlists and we go to this playlist gets thousands of hours of watch time every month. It's crazy how much watch time this series happens to get. Several hours, 2.7K views on this, and these are like pretty high quality views. on these, and people, even the last one, look, all the way to day 8, 780 views. I know that's not a crazy amount of views, but the number of hours I get a day on this particular series is mind-blowing to me. This is my most watched video series. This isn't even a tutorial series. This was me live coding, learning how to do Unity. This is one of the first Unity projects I ever did, and the number of views I have on it is astonishing to me. Anyway, so I was thinking I could come back to this now that I know more about Unity. Can I do some visual scripting to make a space shooter game? A space shooter game. Checking field of view for enemy. Or, you know, what I've done with the real Captain Coder. The real Captain Coder would make his own visual scripting like just within an engine in 5 minutes tops. Command until it gets true. The real Captain Coder. I've been swapped. You're on to us. You're on to us. I am actually Hazel. I've swapped places with the Captain Coder. There was a horrible body switching accident, and the real Captain Coder's a dog now. The real Captain Coder's trapped inside a dog, and I am Hazel Coder, the Hazel Coder, and I'm here. I'm inside the body, and you can't do anything about it for the entire month. For the entire month of June, Captain Coder is the Hazel Coder. Two nerdy nerds, welcome back to the stream. What is wrong with me? Well, that's right, I'm gonna get you. Woof, woof, bark, bark, spam, that's right. Two nerdy nerds, holy cannoli, how you doing? JD's like, I don't know about this. This seems a little suspect there. Are you sure? Heckin' Borg, Mr. Bart, I'm sorry, I don't know what's... Whew. We're off to a good start this morning. Man, what's in this coffee? This is the new JD with the cloud of disapproval. This is a new cup, but this is a new brand of coffee I'm trying. Went to Trader Joe's. I don't know what Trader Joe did to become a trader, but maybe it was making the best coffee. You guys are amazing. I'm doing absolutely wonderful, two nerdy nerds. I hope you both are having a beautiful morning, beautiful day, beautiful. I hope you're having a beautiful life, a beautiful year, a beautiful month, a beautiful week. You know, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And you know why? Because we're prepping for Captain Coder's Learn You a Game Jam. We're trying to learn new stuff here every day. I'm learning about Unity's visual scripting language right now. We're going to see if we can take some of these assets, folks. If you guys don't know about the Kenny assets, we're going to play around. We're going to use this in a Unity project, maybe, to make a space game. I was looking at how cool these assets are. Look, it has like the ship components. You could like make a ship builder. Part of me wants to make a ship builder with this because you have like the different ship bodies. You have the different ship wings. I was like, oh, this is cool. Then you have like these decals you can slap on them. I was like, oh, this is really neat. Really neat. Yeah, Kenny has some awesome stuff. If I'm ever not sure what I want to do, I often will come over to the assets and just browse. Be like, oh, maybe I want to make another marble game. Maybe I want to make a marble game like this. I was talking about making a racing game. We could use this. Oh, ooh, do I want to do some kind of water racing game? That would be neat. Do some boat stuff. Castles. Look at this. All the like modular castle building. That's so cool. That's so cool. I wish I was as cool as this. And this is one of the reasons I think it'd be great. Look, they got a trebuchet. Funny word, trebuchet. Funny word, trebuchet. They could do something with trebuchets here. There's a broken trebuchet. Could do some tower defense type stuff. Maybe place out some. I don't know. It's so like just go look at all these things. Open Game Art's another one that inspires me a lot. Somehow I would have expected a more metal style Captain Coder song. Maybe Suno, maybe this one next time. Let's have a listen here. Let's have a listen here. Let's see if I can, hang on. I gotta prep your ears because it might be too loud.
Captain Coder in the night. This is man, he has just rise. In the glow of screens that shine, codes his games under the line.
It's gonna be a lot. 4 minutes, holy moly! It's a long song.
Stretching out, he's got that pride. Hands on keyboard, fingers
Yeah, some of these Suno can make some pretty interesting songs. There's like a brand of song it's pretty good at making, right? And the pop music it's really good at. It's really good at just because there's so much pop out there. One of the things I was considering doing, I just like Sijian so much, is we can make I was thinking through, we could have a bot set up that's listening to the chat and listening to me talk the whole time. And we have an outro song that gets AI generated every stream. At the end of every stream, an AI generated song based on all the things that's been going on. I think that would be a really fun project to do. I think that would be super cool. So it's like a summary, but in like a song form. That could be neat. Here's the thing. Some of these end up being not so great, right? Oh man, I got something in my eye. I might have to take a quick break here. Yeah, some of the songs they end up generating end up being kind of not good, but the fact that it can generate them so quickly, is the thing that is impressive. So you can generate like 5, 6 different songs and then be like, oh, this one was really good. Let's listen to JD's. It has a, what is the band? Who does, I guess Metallica-esque? Yeah, 80s metal. Judas Priest, there you go. I'm gonna say a little bit Metallica, a little bit Iron Maiden. Judas Priest, I was gonna say it reminds me of Iron Maiden. Even this picture feels like an Iron Maiden cover a little bit. Tom Fullery, welcome back to the stream. Great to have you here. Hope you're having a beautiful day. The guy reminds me of Nightwash. I'm not what song? Who does Nightwash? I don't know why I can't think of that song. Nothing's coming to mind on that one. Okay, fun stuff. Okay, so what I was saying is we're gonna try and make a little space shooter game. We're gonna use the Kenny assets here. Nightwash is a band, gotcha. They mix metal and orchestral stuff, kind of. Ooh, that's probably something I would enjoy. I'd probably enjoy a band like that. I was trying to explain to someone what electro swing was the other day. They were saying like, what type of music do you listen to? I listen to all kinds of music, I was saying, but lately I've been into electro swing, Caravan Palace. There's a group called Too Many Zoos. There's a group called something Hooch. I can't remember. Moon Hooch. And they're not quite electro swing, but they all kind of fit into like this interesting category of like swingy, sort of edgy, a little bit of electronic music added into it. Cool stuff. Too Many Zoos less so. Okay, so I've created a new 2D project here. I haven't imported any of my assets, so I'm gonna get the Kenny assets in. Too Many Zoos, yeah, I'm a big fan of Too Many Zoos. Yeah. So when I lived in, I was gonna say I didn't live in New York City, but I lived very close to New York City. I know Leo P, but I don't know Too Many Zoos. Oh, Too Many Zoos is fantastic. He's your inspiration. Back when I was younger, before, I guess Too Many Zoos has been popular for a long time, but used to go see him playing in New York City, which is really cool. I know him from Too Sexy. Yeah, Too Many Zoos, that's the guy, yeah. All right, did I already downloaded this? I think I did. Let's go into my downloads here. I do, yes. Kenny Space Shooter, let's go ahead and remove, unzip these. One of the things that's super cool about Kenny assets is that most of them, and I think in fact all of them might even be CC0, which means that they are copyright free. They're public domain, so you technically don't have to give credit to Kenny to use them, but you can. The coolest part is you can modify them endlessly. That's the coolest part, is the ability to modify them endlessly. All right, so I'm going to import. Here's the files that we have with Kenny assets. We got vectors, so if we wanted to come in, let's just open this up so we can see the vector file. If we wanted to modify these as vectors, we could, and take them and do all kinds of cool stuff with them. The Pokemon theme, they do awesome stuff. Grace Kelly as a sax player, I love everything. Yeah. So these are this vector file that is provided is amazing. You can do so many cool things. If you want to build your own style ships, it'd be easy to do it with these decals, with the ship body components, even making little things like UI components with this would be awesome. The numbers are here. The lasers look fantastic. There's so many different things we could do with this. I love the Kenny stuff. We're gonna just use it as is. So that's one of the things that's provided here. And I think I'm gonna do it with the sprite sheet. I'm gonna load this in. Maybe I should do it with the sprite sheet. I'm not sure if it's gonna line up nicely or if we should do it just find the specific images that we want. Maybe we'll start with just the specific images that we want. And then if we decide we want it a little bit easier. But one of the nice things I love about Unity, one thing I do really like about Unity is how easy it is to get files into it. And this is probably true for a lot of things. Probably true for a lot of different editors. I made a little folder here called sprites. And I'm just gonna move my player sprite. I really like this red one here. I'm gonna take the player sprite, boom, drop it in. Easy to get it imported. And I wanna make a game object for my player, boom, drop it in there like that. And now I have this game object. It's gonna be my player. Okay. And what I want to have happen, I wanna be able to rotate my player. So I'm gonna rename this player. And I'm learning about visual scripting. I'm picking it up a little bit more as I go here, and I haven't done a ton of it. But what I want to do to get visual scripting and started is I create what's called a script machine here, or I add a script machine to my player, and then I can start making script values for my player. So I want to create a mover, a thing that will move my ship. I want to be able to rotate the ship and move the ship forward and backwards. I am going to use Unity's 2D physics system to do this. And so I want to start by adding a rigid, in addition to this, I want to add a rigid body to my player here. So we're going to add in a rigid body 2D, and this makes it interact with the physics system. If I start it right now, let's see if I don't even know where my game window is. It looks like I closed my game window. Do I have a game? There, it'll open one up for me. You'll notice it just falls. When I hit play, it falls. Let me change a setting here real quick. Make it load a little bit faster here. Editor, switching to game mode. This is I really am glad I learned about this. All right, the reloading the domain, for most of my purposes, I don't need that. So we hit play and it falls. And this is because now that it's interacting with gravity, it interacts with the physics, it has gravity. We're gonna set the gravity to 0. So gravity won't be affected by Unity's gravity. So we just have it in here like this, and we're gonna be able to move it around, apply physics to it, but it won't be affected by gravity specifically. Dramlogs, welcome into the stream. Isn't Unity paid now? Unity is not paid. It's free to use, especially if you're not making any money. It's super free to use. Good question, Dirty Puddle, but yeah, it's not paid. If you make money, you do have to pay them a little bit. If you make I think it's over $200,000, is that correct? Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. You do have to pay them if you make over $200,000 of income selling products, something like selling your game. I think it used to be over. Excuse me, I inhaled some coffee. I apologize, and I wasn't able to hit my mute button fast enough. I think it used to be 100,000, but I think it's 200,000 now. And then it's 2.5% of what you make, or I don't know, Unity pricing model. I think it's 2.5 or pay per install. Right, so I think there's two choices, whichever one's less, or in some ways, whichever one's easier to do. Dirty Puddle with the Learn C#, yeah. So good question. That said, there's a bunch of different tools. We don't have to use Unity. It's a bunch of different tools. It's just one that I happen to like. But yeah, I don't remember the exact pricing model these days. It gone out, yeah, 2.5 of your game's gross monthly revenue. If you make, oh wow, $1 million in gross revenue, so it's quite high. I think this is only if you're on the Pro plan. If you're on Unity Personal or Unity Plus plan, the runtime fee does not apply. Okay. The game's created with current support, Unity version free. I think you have to upgrade. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I think a million. I think it's 200,000 if you're on the plus plan or personal. I can't remember for sure. I think you're not allowed to be on personal if you're making more than 200,000, and then the plus plan I think is 200,000. Okay. Oh, you have to update to pro if you make more than 200K. Okay, so then you don't have to pay install. If your game crosses both thresholds, you'll get charged whichever amount is lower. Okay, gotcha. 1 million in gross revenue and 100 million in a million installs. So it's pretty high up there. You have to be making a pretty good amount of money. I think there are specific types of games that this would be bad for, and then this 2.5 would be better for. I don't know for sure. I've never done it. Trailing 12 months. So if you end up making less than that amount in like the second year, it won't matter, right? So it's interesting. I feel like I don't know exactly how I feel about this. I have mixed feelings. I feel the way that this came into existence was potentially pretty bad. The release, yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Hagerman, the initial release wave here. I feel like this is a pretty low cost. I don't know. I don't make any money. Look, Captain Coder's never made any money in his entire life. I ain't never made no money, never, from anything game dev related at the very least. It's basically only targeting large hyper casual games. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Which you did not make any money from before. Gotcha. That makes sense. All the little tiny games with the free to play with transactions, right? Mobile transactions. That Marvel Snap Cash, yeah, you're telling me you're not a millionaire game dev? Oh my God, Dirty Puddle, no, I'm not. There've been rumors out there. Some people have been spreading rumors about me that Captain Coder's a millionaire from game dev. Captain Coder is not a millionaire from game dev. Captain Coder is not a millionaire from game dev. Yep, the transactions ran around it. Gotcha. Yeah, so it's interesting. Shocking news, Irad Dev. Speaking of millionaire game devs, game devs who are people who are millionaires from game devs. Not necessarily you, Irad Dev. Just speaking of them. It's great to see you, Irad Dev. How you been, my friend? Folks, be sure to go check out Irad Dev. Shout out, Irad Dev. Okay, so here I am in Unity. Thank you for the hat. How it's crazy that we haven't had a hat yet, or I missed it. Thank you for look. Thank you for the hat. Join our club of millionaire game devs. That's right. Let's join the club. Gotta join the club. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for the hats. Let's get this hat stack started. Easy to join. All you gotta do, look, so easy. All you gotta do is make $1 million from selling games. All right. So I want to get my player here. We have this rigid body. I set the gravity to 0. We could also, I think, potentially make it kinematic, but then I don't know that physics will apply to it at all. So I do want it to be dynamic. It's our player object. We don't want it to be able to move through things, so I'm gonna make it continuous. And then I'm gonna look at my script machine here. And here, there's a couple things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a variable. It's gonna be a movement controller. I'm gonna add a variable here. It's gonna be our speed. Okay. So I'm gonna click add here, create a variable called speed. Oh, it has to import the visual scripting tool. I was having a lot of fun with this the other day. I'm gonna teach a class on this next year for sure. Not for sure. I'm like 87.5% sure I'm gonna be teaching a class on visual scripting next year, just because of how fun this was to play with yesterday. And it's kind of cool to watch the flow. It takes up a lot more space, in my mind, takes up a lot more space than writing code, but I want to learn how to do it well. So we're going to create a variable here called speed, but the visualization, I think, is probably really good for learning. So there's 3 things that I try and teach in computer science when I'm teaching about programming. Sequencing, what is it? Sequence, it's basically if statements, sequence, selection. That's what it is. Sequence, selection, and iteration. So order of operations, order matters. Being able to do like if statements, conditional logic, and then iteration is being able to loop through and do something multiple times. Composition at all? Composition is part of that too. But the beginning of programming, I teach sequence. It's like the basics of programming, the basics of computer science, the basics of how algorithm works. Sequence, selection, and iteration. Those are the basics that you have to cover to create, essentially build Turing machine. Build a Turing. I don't call it a Turing machine in the class, but those are the things you need to do to perform computations. And then once you have that, composition becomes really important for managing complexity. And so it's all about learn the basics, then start saying, okay, now that we have this basics down, here's this really complex thing, this thing that feels really complex. How do we use tools? What tools exist to reduce the complexity to make it easier for us to manage as our project gets bigger, as our project grows and grows and grows? Let's set our speed to 10. Okay. And I want to create a script here. I'm going to create a new script. It's going to create a new folder. Call this scripts. And in this folder, I want to create a script that is our player movement controls. Okay. Player movement controller. I should probably call it player movement controller, ER. Let me rename that and go to my scripts. I don't know what's going on. Why is this out like this? Super interesting. Player movement controller. Okay, so we're gonna open up our player movement controller. And there's some things that are interesting here. We're gonna edit this graph here. And one thing I really wish Unity, if I could pull this scripting graph out, I can. I wish I could I wish this interacted with Windows power tools a little bit nicer. But here's our scripting tool. Jazzy on a wire, I would like to welcome you today. Welcome to the stream, Jazzy on a wire. Glad to have you here. All right, so I'm gonna put my script. Anyway, we're gonna build some scripts here. What I want to have happen is I want, if our player is pressing a forward key, so this is going to be up or down. If we're pressing forward, I want our player to start accelerating in the direction they're facing. If we press left and right, we're going to rotate in the direction of our press. So it's not going to be, do we want to do that, or do we want to make it more like Xanac? Maybe we want to make it more like Xanac, where we're not rotating. Instead, we're always facing forward, and we use the arrow keys to move ourselves around the screen. Ooh, that might be better. What type of game do I want to make? Space shooter. Xanac is one of my favorite old school space shooters. Maybe we'll make it Xanac-like. I was thinking it was going to be more, not Xanax, Xanac. I was thinking it was going to be more like Asteroids, but this could be fun too. Do we got a YouTube video of Xanac? Xanac, yeah, this game, so cool. Oh, the music in this game is intense. All right, let's turn the desktop music on. We'll turn it down a little bit. Oh, sorry if I'm blowing up people's ears here. Sorry about that. This game, let me turn that music down because this game has intense music. Gonna get copyright strike, I'm sure. This music's so good. I love this music. I dream of this music sometimes. This game is like one of the games I grew up on for sure, yeah. I got so good at this game on the old NES. Wow, they're really just gonna not get into it, are they? This is the first level music here. Come on, here we go. Play. Oh, yeah. So this, you're like flying around, always facing forward, collecting powers up and stuff. My childhood consoles, Nintendo, the NES, the original Nintendo was my first console, and I had that for many years. I had a Genesis for a long time. I don't know that I ever had a Super Nintendo outside of emulator. And then I had Game Boy. I still have my Game Boy, like my original Game Boy. Game Boy Color. Those are the consoles I grew up on. PlayStation I had for a long time. I kind of skipped PlayStation 2 and went straight to PlayStation 3. And now I currently have all of them because, you know, I don't ever play games, but I want to pretend like I do, so I own a bunch. Oh, the music in this is so good. I'm definitely getting copyright strike on this. All right, so I think we're going to make a game like Xanac here. So forward facing. All right, so our movement controller is going to be tight movement controls that way. I grew up with some shooter like this that started with an X. Can't remember the name. SkyDriver, great to have you again with us. We're going to be exploring more visual scripting in Unity again. Let's hop back over to Unity. Thank you guys for allowing me to go through a digestion here with you, so we digest a little bit, digress a little bit. But let's look at our scripting graph here. I'm gonna pull my game window out. I need a better view. Let's all right, we'll go to a window. Let's go to our default layout. We have our default layout, which is this. Okay. And what I want to create a new layout specifically for editing the scripts that I can switch between, because I still want to see the game view. Still want this thing to be full. When I'm in the script view, yeah, see, look how much space this thing takes up. So much space. It's interesting. It's one of the downsides I've seen here. Congratulations on number 15, SkyDriver. Xevious, Mr. Mart. I haven't heard of that one. Xevious. But yeah, we'll move our hierarchy over here. We'll move this down here. And we'll move our console down here as well. So I have this, I can switch. And then can I snap a game view up here? Okay. So I think this might be how I want to do my visual scripting, have it set up in this way. And maybe, just maybe, we won't have the render queue there, but now you can't see, like, this stuff gets blocked. So maybe we'll keep it like this, I'm not sure. We'll figure something out. All right, let me save this layout, see if we like it. We'll use this a little bit and see if I like it. We'll save layout, call this visual scripting. Okay. But I want to be able to access my hierarchy and inspector a little bit. But I'm on my player here. Go to my inspector. Maybe my hierarchy should be down here. I have a lot more screen space than what looks like on the screen. So this is what my desktop actually looks like, and then this happens to be the area that you guys see, because I have it on a 2K resolution. So I can see there's a lot more real estate for me, but I use it for streaming a little bit. So I can watch my audio levels and stuff. All right, so our object has a speed here. We are going to, in our fixed update, our physics update, it's at a node, fixed, on fixed update. In our fixed update, we're gonna get some resolution. It goes up to 4K, but 4K is too hard for me to see. A little bit. I think I might need to get an even bigger monitor. We'll see. But yeah, I have two 2K monitors, and so it's pretty nice. That sort of meets everything I need. It goes up to this one will go up to 4K, but that's just too much real estate. It's 4K, but only 27 inches. So I think I would need a 32-inch monitor, and then that just feels too massive. I'm not sure. Maybe going down to maybe getting one monitor that's ultra wide might work well for me. But this works really well right now. I feel like I have enough real estate to have everything I need on these two monitors, when I'm streaming. Before I think I needed more. Ultra wide plus side monitor. I was thinking of getting a side monitor. Yeah, ultra wide plus side monitor might work well for me. I'd have to rearrange my whole setup, and then my intro screen. I'd have to redo my intro screen because I would no longer be able to say, yeah, that's my setup. So my setup is there. I've thought about doing it, but there's a coroutine option. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I should maybe look into that. All right, so we have our onFixed update. We are going to get the player input here. Get axis. Okay, so we have horizontal. This is our up and down. We have horizontal. And then we also are going to need to get our horizontal and vertical. What's really cool about visual scripting, or there's some things that I think are really cool. Visual scripting here. This is how we write lines of code. It says, this is our function. This is like the method we're calling. And then it says, when this happens, just flow this way. So you can visualize the flow. You don't have to write it top to bottom. You can go left to right. And in fact, it feels like left to right is sort of the intuitive thing to do here. Go left to right like that. This graph inspector, can I move? Interesting. I kind of would like it to be like down at the bottom or something. So it's not quite block based, it's node based. So block, like things end up nesting together. I think I like this quite a bit though. For learning purpose, I think it's gonna be really, really nice for my students who haven't done any text-based programming yet. So I teach a non-coding Unity class, a non-coding 3D class, a non-coding 2D class, and at the end of the 2D class, we start doing a little bit of programming. But a lot, like I'd say probably 20-30% of the students really struggle and they lose it at that point. And there's a lot of software like getting VS Code to work. So there's Mac, Linux, Windows users, getting VS Code to work, getting Visual Studio to work, getting all those things to work is quite difficult. And it's like, so now I'm introducing a new thing, new concepts, tons of new concepts at that point. I think I can set the class up in a way where they will start doing a little bit of visual scripting and then we'll migrate to text-based coding. So that's sort of the plan I have in my head of how to do it. And next year, I think I'm going to be doing some stuff with Godot as well. So there's all kinds of stuff I have planned, all types of things I have in mind. So we have our axis here, horizontal, vertical. I do kind of sometimes wish I could have them go down like this and have the arrows not be so funky looking, but that's okay. There's also an align. I was reading through some documentation. There seems to be a way to align these things nicely. Align top edge. There we go. So there are some pretty nice things here that we can do. Relations. It comes with a lot of things. Here's the other thing. The documentation is built into this, right? Get access, invoke, returns the value of the array, virtual access identified the access name, invoke, get input, outputs. So we have inputs, we have outputs. So we start learning about inputs, outputs, flow without all the code, because the code can feel weird. I'm like, well, where does this thing go? The arrows are really obvious. Okay, what I want to do is now we're going to take our input axis, our vertical axis, our horizontal axis, and we're going to set that to, we're going to do our rigid body 2D dot body 2D dot set velocity. So the idea is we're going to set the velocity here on this, and we want to take our x-axis and our y-axis, our horizontal, vertical, and convert that into a vector too. So we'll notice we can't just attach this here because this data type is a float, not a vector. We need a vector 2 to connect here. So I like that. We can talk about data types. How can data types connect? So we need to convert this into these two values. We need to take this and turn it into a vector 2. Thank you so much. It's USA Cross. Welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and get you banned here. The tab complete's not working for me. Rcast, there we go. The user you're trying to ban doesn't exist. That's hilarious. What? That's wild. The name must be spelled interestingly. Self-destructing user. Where's my mod buttons? My mod buttons, are they not turned on? Why can't I mod this person? I'm really bad at this. There we go. They got us. Thank you so much, Mr. Bard. All right, so I want to be able to create a vector 2, and I want to create, oh, I did the wrong create here. I want to vector, this is one thing that's a little bit, there's some really nice things about this is you can use any any data types here. You make custom data types, you can use them here. So we're gonna create a vector from an XY. So our horizontals are X, our vertical is our Y. So we can have these connect this way. This is where I would like to be able to change how these arrows like flow. I'd like to be able to grab this and node it around. So there's some hard things about this. So we're gonna create this vector 2 like that. And then we are going to pipe this into our rigid body. All right, so we're gonna pipe this into our rigid body here. If we can zoom out a little bit as well. So that one of the things that I think is super cool here, let me pull this off to the side so we can keep it in. When I hit play, look at it shows us how all of these values come together. And we can even see the output of these lines. Let me zoom in here a little bit. As I play, these numbers change, the output, right? So if I'm going left and right, if I'm pressing up and down, it shows what the values on those axes are. 1 to 0 to -1. 1 to 0 to -1 if we watch there. So I think just from a understanding how these functions work, this is so cool. And now we say, well, our player moves so slow. Our player's moving so slow. How can we improve that? What can we do to make it better? We can say, well, we want to scale this output vector here by a value. So we're gonna scale it up by our object speed. So we take this speed value, we add it in here and say, okay, I wanna take this vector and I need to do a multiplication. Multiply. Okay. Can I just do, yeah. So we're gonna do a multiplication. We're gonna take our incoming vector. We're gonna multiply it by our speed. And then this becomes the value here. This here becomes the value. So we can actually watch the data change as it flows through now. So we can watch this data change. It's super cool. All right, so this, I just think this is awesome. I wish it let me zoom in more than 1x. That's a little bit annoying. But watch this. So right now our input vector is 0, 0. So we can watch the input vector here get scaled by our player's speed over here. So now we have this nice movement going on. This nice speedy movement here. Yeah, and then we can do things like we can watch, well, what if I set it to 5? All right, well, now it's only scaling that value by 5. Our inputs, this is an input into this box here. And this box applies multiplication with these two inputs and then produces a new output. So it's like we can really start talking about input output functions in this way. So our player movement controls are like this. And now we can adjust it here with this variable. I really just love the data visualization, better than, in a lot of ways, better than a block language. Like this nodes, we watch the data flowing. Here is the get fixed update, or sorry, on fixed update. We get the axes like this. We pipe them through, we scale them up like that. I don't know how to align these things in a way. Distribute centers. Yeah, I don't know how to make the arrows, the like connections. I would like to be a little bit better, right? So like this blue inputting into this, I can't find a good spot to place this so all the things line up nicely. That's one of my complaints, is I don't know how to make that feel good, right? The flows here, and it just could be something like, well, I'm just not used to it, but having it go beneath and stuff. But I can move it around, which is nice. Try and get it to look good. Now I'm like, oh, well, maybe I want to swap these so this one's on top. I don't know. Anyway, pretty cool stuff here. And I can edit the values live while I'm coding while I'm visual scripting. So really, really cool there. All right, so we have a very simple, I would consider this very simple function for our fixed update on how we control the player's movement. You can control the player's movement very easily here now. One thing I would like to be able to, let's give it a title here. We're gonna call this player movement. So we just have like this nice player movement script. One thing I'd like to be able to explain more easily to my students, or come up with an example that shows why we need to be using fixed update here. And I know it's because I understand, so we're doing physics, but it's hard to see if we do on update, this actually works just fine. If we do it on update here, rather than fixed update, it will continue to work the same way. It's kind of hard to show why we should use on fixed update rather than update at this point. And so part of me feels like, well, I should maybe do on update, get to a problem with it, which is going to be like some jittering, like collision detection. But demonstrating that consistently, I have found to be quite hard. If anyone has a good way, or has found a good way to demonstrate the benefits of on fixed update, like a nice visual way to demonstrate it, I'd be very interested in that. I'm gonna pull this out. I think it'll be a little bit nicer to have it over here in my view. I wanna have a button that lets me collapse these things. Can I combine here? Let's pull these out. Hierarchy, project, console. Captain Chica, welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much for the hat. Let's get another hat on this stack. And Trambles, I see we have spaghetti on the menu today. They do look a little bit like noodles. Captain Chica, thank you so much for the heaty hat. The heaty hat. How you been, my friend? I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm having a lot of fun with the visual scripting. I'm not gonna lie, Drambles, I'm having a lot of fun with the visual scripting. It takes me longer to do visual scripting than if I was just writing a script. But I think there are some definite benefits to teaching using visual scripting and then show the translation to code, right? So there's something really nice here about this, and then you could translate it to the code. One thing, I think there's like a one-to-one translation too. I think we could take, in Unity's visual scripting, we could take any visual script, write it in C# as a mono behavior, and then go back the other way. Is shader graph? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Said that the package didn't exist. I'm sorry, Captain Chico. We might have to create that. Tony, I'm glad you're here, my friend. Congratulations on your number 17. I hope you're having a beautiful day. So this is my little player controller script. Let's add in a player fire script. We want to say, well, I want to be able to shoot things as well. And so in my let's go into my player here. You can't see this here, so I'm in my player. I'm gonna add in an additional script to my player. See, I'm trying to figure out what to do with all of these things. It is challenging just from a window management standpoint. I'm finding it challenging to have my window set up. This is Bolt, Dramos. It's the built-in visual scripting for Unity 2021 and later, I think. But yeah, it is Bolt. Right, so my hierarchy. my player. I'm going to add in a new graph. I want to add in an additional graph here. So I'm going to add another script machine. And I want to create it. This one's going to be like my player fire controller. And maybe I don't have to have this separate. It could just be like a separate play. So I have player movement. This is how I normally would write my separate script. So this is my player fire controller. Like this. Player fire controller. Okay. This one I want to do in update. This one I'll want to do an update. And what I want to have happen is when I press the fire button, we're going to create a laser. We're going to create a laser. Yeah, so I try to avoid that, right? Just like in my scripting, I try to avoid putting all my stuff in one big script, like the global script here. So this one is going to control being able to fire things. One thing that's really interesting in the scripting, though, is I want this script to have some variables, not necessarily my object it's attached to. And so separate, so in this graph, what I really want is to have a game object. And this game object is going to be the laser object here that we're going to create. And so there's some things here that I don't quite understand. Why script it when you can compile it? I'm learning about visual scripting, Captain Chica. That is part of it. One thing that is really cool. Let me show you one thing I think is really cool here about this. So if I go into my player here, let's go into our player movement graph. There's one thing that I think is superior to writing in like C# code. I hit run here. And it shows me how the data flows. This is one way I think it's slightly superior. Okay. And I can actually modify this code while the game is running here. We could write Lua code too. I had fun doing that. I had a ton of fun writing some Lua code. And so I can actually modify this graph live while it's running. So let's say I want to change the input. Do we have a game yet? Well, we have a thing, we have a thing moving around on the screen. Player can press some buttons and move some stuff around on the screen. So yeah, we have a game. Does it have a full game loop? No, but we do have a game. Ship it, indeed. I made a tutorial. Do we have a game? Yeah, so there's a part of that, but I want to learn. My whole point here is to learn about this. So I'm in my fire, like I want to be able to generate some stuff. Hero Fox, welcome back to the stream. I want to create a thing called a laser. Okay, and my laser this is where I get a little bit caught up. I want to produce a thing of type laser. But it ends up needing to kind of be like a game object. And then I pull the game object in, and then that game object, how do I set scripts? Is there a data type here that represents like a script machine graphed? So it could be a script machine. I'm curious if I can make this work here. Okay, so I'm gonna make a script out in my scene. So here I'm in my scene. I want to create a prefab that is a laser. Okay, so I'm going to take one of my sprites. Oh, I need to add a sprite in, so I don't have this sprite added yet. Let's add a laser. The greatest of the American gladiators, it's true. You have the laser. Do you have a chainsaw? We need the chainsaw for our space shooter. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. I like it. Lasers. All right, so there's this laser folder here. I'm gonna go with which laser should I use? Some good lasers here. A bunch of different ones to choose from. I kind of like this one. Kind of like red 01. We're gonna go with red 01 here. Why do you not have a chainsaw? I didn't think I'd need one for space, but you know what? Those space trees. We're gonna need a chainsaw for the space trees. We need a chainsaw for the space trees. All right, so we're gonna add this in here. this is going to sort of, and I want to, basically we're going to add a script to this that makes it move up on the screen. Move it up on the screen. It needs to have a velocity, so I'm going to give it a rigid body. It needs a velocity. What if the tree falls on what if a tree falls on the space road and no one's there to hear it? Does it make a sound? Because I hear that no one can hear you scream. In space, no one can hear you scream. In space, do trees make a sound when they fall on the road? That's the real question. That is the real question. Here I am in my inspector. I'm gonna add in a rigid body to this guy. Again, I'm gonna make this not affected by gravity. We don't want these lasers to move through things. I'm not sure if we want it discrete or continuous, but I'm gonna go with discrete for now, because we're probably gonna have a lot of lasers. And then I want to add a script that just is like, you know, constant movement value. So we're going to add in a script machine here. Script machine in our inspector. And the script is, I guess I could call it a laser script for now. All right. Laser controller. Laser controller. So all our logic for how laser works is going to be in this controller here. Okay. This is where I get a little bit trouble, because I don't normally use the tag system in Unity. I'd like to send my ice cream to a negative 272 degree chiller called space. Not a bad idea. Keep it nice and cool. So we're going to edit this graph here for our laser. And the whole thing with this laser is it's just going to move on start. And I'm curious if on start, I just want to set its velocity. I just want to set its velocity. So it's going to have a variable name. I'm curious. This graph has a variable. It does need to be an object variable. This object's going to have a variable. And it's going to be, we're going to make this a vector 2. Really, it's a speed, but I'm going to make it a vector 2. Speed. And we'll make it a vector 2. And then its Y value is just going to be towards the top of the screen. So in Unity, towards the top screen would be positive. So we'll go 2. And when we start, we're going to do our rigid body 2D.set velocity. We're just going to set our velocity here. When we start, we set our velocity to this thing. And then there's kind of no update on this. Set it to this speed. So when our laser starts, boom, it just flies. It's just moving. There it is. It's moving. Feels a little slow. Feels a little slow, but I can modify. This is an object variable. Modify our feed. Let's go 4. There it is. 4 feels also slow. Make it 6. No need to pay for electricity if it's just negative or 272 degrees. You know, you're right. When you're right, you're right. So what I want to do, here's the interesting thing. I'm going to rename this to just laser. What I want to do is I kind of want to make a prefab. And so I'm going to come over to my hierarchy here, my folder. We're going to create a folder, call this prefabs. It's just going to be a basic laser. Let's do a capital L. I don't know why I need to be a capital, but I want to be a capital L like that. Laser. And in my player script, I want to be able to do the following. And maybe this is okay that I don't have this. I was going to say, let's go into my player. Okay. And I want to edit their fire controller. Oryx, let me get another hat on this stack. Thank you for the hat redeem. Let's get another hat. Boom. Boom. Perfect. Perfect. How come temps in space are negative 272 and on Venus they're up to 450? That's called a greenhouse effect, my friend. That's a greenhouse effect. Okay. In our update, when we press, yeah, so it's interesting, does this need to be, we're going to find out here. When we press space, this is interesting. When we press space, I need to know what game object to create. So that would be one way to do it. So let's create a laser. We could call it weapon. Okay. When we press space, we're going to instantiate. I'm going to move my prefab laser. Can I just do that? In here. Okay. Can do that. We're going to check for our user input if we press the fire button. All right. Get fire button. Fire. Sorry. This would be get button down. So if the button was pressed, get button down. And we're going to say if fire was pressed, like this. This isn't saying if fire was pressed, it says actually just get this value. And we need an if statement next. So we're going to say if. This is always kind of interesting to me. So we're going to say if flow in here. If we pressed fire, we're going to spawn this game object here somewhere on the screen. So we're going to have to figure out. So we're going to do a instantiate original position rotation. It's kind of cool to see all these different options. So create node instantiate. Position rotation. Do we have one that's just position? Original position rotation parent. Unity object. Original parent. All these need a rotation if we do it this way. That's okay. So let's just do position rotation. Okay. And we're going to instantiate the weapon. And the position we're going to instantiate it in is just in front of the player. So what I want to add in here is a transform.position. So we're going to get our position. This is the player's position. Wherever the ship is. Like that. Okay. Swap these out here like this. So we're going to create a weapon. We're going to put it in the position the player is. We probably want to put it in front of the player a little bit, but let's run it here. Oh, get button fire is not set up. Interesting. I thought fire was one of the default ones. Let's go look. Let's look at our input manager, Axes. Fire 1. It's fire 1. Interesting. Fire 2. It's kind of surprising. Left control mouse. It's no space in there. Patrick, congratulations on number 19. Welcome back to the stream. Great to have you here. It's great to see you, my friend. So it's fire 1. Fire 1. Okay. And apparently the default for fire 1 is a mouse click. Ooh, it doesn't like that. Missing input for rotation. We have to create a rotation for it. Patrick, thank you for the hats. Let's get our hat on this stack here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hat. Thank you so much for the hats. Zoom out a little bit. Tony with another hat. Let's get a second hat. Fifth hat. This is our hat number 5. Hat number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put those hats on our heads and get alive with the Unity visual scripting. Thank you for the hat redeem. Also, folks, I want to make sure everyone knows JD, the incredible, the wonderful, the fabulous.
You want to feel like you're talking with Captain. Let me see if I could do my Captain impressions.
JD does Godot.
I am
He's
not the Captain,
it
but my eyebrows
all day
also
long
move
these days.
in a
Go
way
check him out.
like the Captain.
So we need a rotation. That's right, JD with the eye. JD with the eye. Let's do a rotation here. I just want to get a... Suppose we could do the rotation that's just whatever the player's rotation is. I think that makes sense. Okay. Let's try that. There we go. Now we can fire lasers. They come out of our player. Boom. Easy. Easy. Like that. And so that's our left mouse click to do a fire. You'll notice it starts inside the ship. I kind of want it to start just in front of the ship. And so I'm going to translate, I'm going to put in a translation to put it on the edge of the ship as well. So it's our transform plus a little bit. We're going to move it in front of the ship a little bit. So I'm going to create a, oh my goodness, JD, that's horrifying. It's horrifying. We're going to create a vector 2. Oh, can I do transform dot forward? Yeah, we're going to get just in front of the player ship. All right, so it's just in front of, it's our player ship's position. And then we want to get a little bit in front of it. And we're going to add these together. Add. So I can say take our current position plus our forward position. So I think this will be 1 unit in front of forward. So we might have to add a multiplier in here. And then we will make that our new position like this. It's kind of cool to watch the connection on these. It reminds me a lot of writing in Scheme where everything's in parentheses and you're matching everything up. Maybe that's why I like it. All right, so now it starts in front of the player. Kind of. You can add a little bit of a multiplier to have it be in front a little bit further. We can watch where that value is too. So this is really cool. I find this to be really cool. It shows what value forward is. It's on the Z axis here. And so we actually, interestingly enough, this forward is incorrect because this is a 3D space forward. And I want my 2D space forward. So I actually want, what's interesting here is transform dot up, I believe is what I actually want. And now when I use it, yeah, it's in my Y direction. I was like, that's interesting. It's starting too far up. See, it's starting too far in front of the player, in my opinion. So I need to scale it down. So we need to reduce this value, the amount we're moving it up. We need to shrink it. So let's add in a multiplier. And this multiplier is just going to say half it. Put it half this size. All right, so we're going to add in a constant. We'll do a float. And we're going to say half it, 0.5. Connect it here. And now we can even watch. This is so cool for learning. We can watch these values, say, okay, you see the values going, when we scale it down, it scales all three. So this is great for talking about how vectors scale against scale, constants, how they work against scalar values. We can, I think this is going to be such a good learning tool. I think it's going to be such a good learning tool, especially if people are nervous about trying to learn how to program. I know a lot of people get nervous when they start trying to say, oh, programming is scary. And I think being able to visualize it this way is really nice. Let's align the right edge of these. I like that. It's nice that we can do these alignments. Align the right edge. Let's align the right edge of all of these. Let me align the left edges, right edges. There we go. And then let's align the top edge of these. Move that up like that. Okay. Pretty nice. Although it's kind of wild to see the how big this calculation looks here. And this literally would be one line of code that says weapon, it's interesting that this is one line of code here. And then these are all the variables that go into that one line of code. Kind of cool to see. Kind of cool to see there. All right, so we can shoot our lasers now. Our player has the ability to shoot lasers. We can swap this weapon out so we can make some different lasers as well. Different weapons. Let's go back into our laser controller. One thing that isn't obvious from what we're doing here, but if I go into my hierarchy, one thing that's not obvious, but every time I fire a laser, it's adding it into the world here, and then it stays in the world forever. Stays in the world forever. And what we want to do is we want to make it so that way it disappears after, let's say 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We'll add in some duration to our laser. And so here's our laser script. Right now the laser says on start, just do this thing. I want to start a coroutine or add a timer in that says, part of me thinks a coroutine would be the way to go. I don't know how to do coroutines. I do see coroutine here. I do see this checkmark coroutine. So in my mind, it's like, well, I want to start a thing and then start a timer that says after 2 seconds, just destroy yourself. Just destroy yourself. I would be really curious how we can do that. I'd be really interested in how to do that. I could do it with an update, but what I want to do is add in another variable here. So this is our velocity, our speed, and another variable here that's going to be duration. And I'm going to make it a float. So this is how long this thing will stay alive. You had an issue understanding coroutines? Okay. Yeah, so in my mind, that's fair. That's fair. It's like the concept of like threading, you can think of it kind of like a thread. It runs, the idea is it runs in the background. They run simultaneously, co-routine. So you can think of a behavior as a routine, a function as a routine. They run simultaneously. So it's kind of a thread. In Unity, coroutines can be kind of thought of as threads, but they run on the single threaded. But let's give this a duration here. I'm wondering if I'm editing. I don't think I'm editing the prefab. I need to go into the prefab here. Yeah, I'm not editing the prefab. I want to modify the prefab. Okay, let's go back into my scene here. My laser here. Well, I could always just apply it to all this stuff at the end. Inspector. Overrides, apply all. Okay, so I'm gonna go into, all right, I'm working on my prefab here. The duration, let's have this laser last for 3 seconds. What I want to have happen is after 3 seconds, this laser will destroy itself. And so I'm curious how to start a coroutine in the scripting lane. My non-coder friend would describe coroutines as the laundry effect. That's interesting. So you like put something, the idea is like you put something into a laundry machine and you go do something else while it's happening. And then when it's done, it like informs you. That's one way to do it. I'm not 100% sure if I completely like that, but I don't know if I dislike it. I'm wondering, let's do a little bit of Googling. Unity visual scripting coroutine. Flavius, welcome back to the stream. Let's get another hat on the stack. Let's go. Boom. Thank you for the hat. How you been, my friend? I hope you're having a beautiful day. Let's look at this documentation here. Let's go to the latest. Time nodes. Okay. Time nodes include timer, cooldown, and wait nodes. Wait nodes delay the execution of the rest of the script. That is kind of cool. Asynchronously in Unity is handled by coroutines, not multi-thread. You need to inform visual checkbox. You need to inform visual scripting to run the script as a coroutine in order to support wait nodes. Okay. Okay, interesting. Sidrin, welcome back to the stream. Great to have you here, my friend. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Come on in. The water is great. The water is nice. Okay, so I do want to do a coroutine here. And then have like on a mouse down. Okay, let's try this. Oh, we can do another on start. This is something that I think is kind of cool here. You can have multiple on starts. The order of execution I don't understand, but we're gonna say on start, we're gonna start a coroutine. I think we can do this. On start, so this sets the velocity, and on start, wait for duration. Like that. And then we're just gonna destroy, oops, control. I don't know why control P, for some reason, my brain thinks control P is gonna open up a context menu. And I think it's because in Visual Studio Code, that opens the command palette. Destroy. And so we're gonna do game object destroy. And it's sort of just like this dot game object. This dot game this. That's kind of cool to see there as well. And also want stuff like that. Yeah, my brain wants to do control P here. So we're gonna say on start we set the velocity. I suppose we could add the weight down here as well. It might make sense. You know what? Let's just make this a coroutine. I think this makes more sense. So I say set the velocity, wait this amount of time. So that's our laser script. Let's try it. Set the velocity. I'm gonna bring my hierarchy back over. 3 seconds feels like a long time now. And I click, it shoots. And then the laser should, after 3 seconds, 1, 2, yeah. So the lasers disappear after 3 seconds. So even if I start firing a ton of lasers, they will slowly, not even slowly, after 3 seconds, they disappear. So I can fire these lasers up here, and then they disappear after 3 seconds. And we can adjust that duration, right? So if we wanted to, maybe we feel like 3 is too long. 1 is definitely not long enough. 2, there's some other things we can do. We can make it so that way when the laser is off the screen, I honestly feel like we want these lasers to be a little bit faster. But what's nice is we can just play around with these numbers over here and get them to work the way we want them to. Okay, this visual scripting feels not bad for simple things. That said, I do feel like the code for this is literally 1 line of code, 2 lines of code, and now I have like, it feels like it does take up a lot more screen space. But it's not bad. It's not bad. I think from a learning perspective, this will be really nice. I'm gonna play with it, see how students transition from this to writing actual scripts in Unity. Because that's the ultimate goal in my mind, is you provide this as a way of learning. Another thing that would be nice is as a pro, you can make your own nodes. It's really easy to make your own nodes here, which is really cool. Any script you write, you can add it in here as a node, which is really cool, actually. You could have people who are non-programmers building your state machines and helping you out in this, and you just provide methods that they can call to do interesting things. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove this starting laser there. I'm gonna move my player in my scene. I don't want my player to start at the top there. I'm gonna have him move down here. I want my player to sort of be bounded to my screen. And one thing I want to do is make my screen, rather than being a free aspect, we're gonna make it like 16 by 9. So default size here, 16 by 9. And I want to bound my player to this space. I don't want my player to be able to leave the screen. Currently, if my player moves, they can move off the screen, and we don't want that. There's a couple things to make it so that the player can wrap around. So if we go off the left, we come back to the right. I think I really just want to keep my player bounded inside of this play area right here. So there's several ways I could do that. I could do it as a script. But I actually think I'm just going to add in a box. I'm going to add in a bounding box to represent the space I can move inside of. And then it will just restrict my player. I don't want my player to be able to move anywhere on the screen. I want them to be sort of stuck to this bottom half of the screen. Eel Kasiva, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream, Eel Kasiva 10 Arena Kit SC. Thank you for following. Thank you for following today. Thank you for being here. To do this, I'm going to go ahead and create a new game object. So here's my hierarchy. I'm going to create a game object. I'm going to call this player bounds. So it's the area the player can move inside of. And I think I just want to make it I just want to give it a bounding box. All right, so I'm just going to create on this, I'm going to add in a box collider 2D. And then let's move this so it's relative to the center of the screen. I'm just going to resize this to be the space I want my player to be inside of. I can take this bounding box and just resize it here in this way. And I think this is all I need. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Not all I need. You know what? My player has no bounding box. My player does not interact with this currently because if I go to my player now, and my player has no collision. It's a rigid body, but it has no collision. Okay. So I want to add to my player. I'm going to add in the shape of my player here. Turn off my gizmos. The shape of my player is not a square. It's not a box. So I'm going to make it so that my player has a polygon collider 2D. And Unity does a really good job. Can I turn off the script machine? I want to turn off this specific gizmo. Script variable. How do I disable this? Anyone know? I want to disable show hide icons. Okay, I can just click to remove that. It has all of these visual scripting things attached to it. State machine. I want to get rid of all of these. All right, script machine. There we go. Unity does a really good job, typically, of creating these nice polygon boxes. So here's my player's polygon box it did by itself. And then I can come in and I can adjust it. And say, oh, well, it's here. It's here. It's here. Move this over here like that. So I can come in and I can just adjust it. It's a really nice, simple way to define these bounding boxes in Unity for objects. It doesn't have to be perfect. Pixel perfect would be in like, it doesn't need to be fixed, but our brain's not going to be able to see much more than this. In fact, this feels already like maybe I could reduce it a little bit more and it would be fine. Let's try that. I can't. All right. I was really hoping I could just add a bounding box and then be inside of it. See how it pushed me outside of the bounding box though? I really wanted to do a player bounds like this. Okay. I'm wondering, can I do a bounding box where you can be just on the inside? Thought that'd be nice. I could put bounding area around it as well. That feels less fun. So let's go in here. This isn't gonna work. Our player, because our player's in it to get pushed, the physics system is pushing our player outside of the bounding box. See how it pushed our player outside of the bounding box there? Oops, scene. Make sure, let me pull this down here. Player bounds. Our player cannot move. Keep trying to move. Our player cannot move inside of this. Can move around it, but not inside. Yeah. Little tricky there. Okay. We can change this rather than be a box collider. We could do an edge collider like this. And we could snap it in. I'm going to switch to I'm snapping here. I'm going to turn on, can I not turn on snap right now? Oh, I have to switch to local? What does it say? How about snapping on when you set tool handle rotation to global? Is that not what I currently have? Interesting. I don't know why I cannot turn that on. I was gonna set it here. If I hold down control, it's doing the snapping for me. But really, I want to have this. We're gonna do this. So we're gonna just create this edge here that wraps around. It's gonna lock the player in. I don't like this as much. I don't like this as much at all as the box I was using before. But I think it'll do. And so our player will not be able to cross this line. Getting these to line up without the snap is weird. I don't like how this snap is working on these. This feels like maybe I shouldn't do it this way. Let's come in and let's adjust these points specifically. Let's do -9. I guess -9 is the edge of the screen. Oh, 8, -8.5, 0, 8.5, 0, 8.5, -4.5. Ooh. Oh, 85, 8.5. So we're gonna hard set these so that just makes a nice square. 8.5, and this would be 0. So we just have this bounding box. How did we do with that? All right, so now our player can't move outside. It rotates on this box. All right, so we'll have to fix that in our rigid body, say that don't allow us to rotate. This is the space our player can move inside of. One thing I caught, and my player starts spinning like that. Let's go ahead and turn off on our player here. We're gonna disable the ability for it to rotate. So we're gonna freeze the rotation here, like that. So now it won't rotate when it hits the sides of our box here. So this is the bounds, the area that we have defined the player is able to move inside of. Feels a little small. And so what we could do now is we come over to our bounding box. We've defined a box here like this. We can actually just scale it. So we select our player bounds. Rather than adjusting the size here, we can actually, will it not let me select that? Player bounds. Suppose I can just grow it out this way. I was hoping I'd be able to click some edges, but I can't. Fascinating. I'm fascinated by that. I'd like to define a better way to define this area. Using a script would be one possible option. 0.7, 1.6. Let's try 1.6. There we go. Okay. So now we can move through most of it, but we don't want to be able to go all the way to the edge of the screen because enemies are going to appear there. The player doesn't want to be able to be at the edge. We could move this as far as we want, though, if we wanted to. All right, so we can move around, but we're stuck inside of these bounds. We're stuck inside of these bounds. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Let's add in, and I can fire things. Let's add in, like an enemy. Let's add in an enemy and have it floating across the screen. See if we can interact it. Oh, before we do that, we've been going for 90 minutes. Let's take a break. Sometimes I get too excited. I forget to take a break. Take a break. I'm not quite out of bean water, but I'm gonna create myself another cup of bean water here. I'm gonna chug some fresh water here. When we come back, we're gonna keep working on this. We're gonna keep learning about visual scripting, seeing if we can make a space shooter game here. Maybe try and add in some sound effects. And we're gonna add in enemies next that we can shoot and destroy. Maybe add in a score counter, that kind of thing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Captain Coder will return. Hang tight, everybody. All right, everybody, Captain Coder's back. I missed you. I missed you. We've been going for a little bit over 90 minutes. We try and stop, take a break here every 60 minutes, usually 90 minutes, and 2 hours tops. Redoni, welcome back with the slam. Let's get some stretching in. Let's take care of ourselves. Look, the Captain Coder loves you, which means you should love you. And if you love you, gotta love that body. If you love that body, one thing you can do,
you in the
get
back.
Up and
pay attention.
Right, Drammel, because I see you back there not getting up to stretch. Get on up. Captain Coder wants you to stand up, take care of that body. Get on up with me. We're going to do some stretches. Put those arms up at the side. We're going to do some lower trunk twists, feet shoulder width apart. We're just going to rotate our trunk back and forth. Nice and slow. Just get that nice stretch in the lower back. Taking care of ourselves the way we deserve to be taken care of. Because we're lovely people. You're a lovely person. Captain Coder loves you. You should love you. Oh, yeah. Arms up high. We're going to lean into the side, back and forth, back, and forth. Yeah, not bad, not bad, back and forth. Deep breath in, reach up to the sky, and then exhale. As you do, you're going to hinge at the hips, and we are just going to hang here for 15 seconds. Focusing on stretching out that glutes, the lower back and glutes here. Get a nice little stretch in. Oh, yeah. Doesn't it feel good to be alive? My dog over here on the floor being like, you reaching down to pet me? You reach down and pet your dog if you can? Oh, yeah. I use them. And then slowly roll on up. Bring those shoulders up, back and down. We're going to do some shoulder rolls. Back. 2, 3, 4. Add the elbows. 2, 3, 4, full arms. 2, 3, 4, roll them forward. 2, 3, 4, add the elbows. 2, 3, 4, full arms. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, shake it out. Shake it out, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in those stretches, for being here. For joining me in those stretches. We're going to add 25 points, everyone. Points, add all 250 points to all you beautiful people out there. Thank you guys so much for joining. We're going to hop back in here into our game. We're going to talk about adding in some enemies here. We're going to add in some enemies. First thing I need to do is actually get some sprites for our enemies. Maybe just some obstacles. So here's our project folder here. I want to add in an image here to represent our enemies. So I have enemies here. Let's go ahead and add in this guy. This is going to be our basic enemy. Maybe we'll add in, rather than an enemy, maybe we'll just add in, maybe we start with a meteor. Kind of like the meteor idea here. Feels good, man. That's right. I'm glad you got those stretches in. Codemuck, thank you so much for joining us. We got our bean water with us now. Get us a little bit more energy. Not bad. Yeah, let's create, you know what? Let's create a meteor. It's not an enemy, so the enemies are gonna like fire lasers back at us. Let's start off with just a meteor that if it hits us, destroys us, but we can shoot it to destroy it. We can shoot it to destroy it. So let's start off with, I guess we can add in all of these. Sprites, let me create a folder. Meteors, maybe obstacles, meteors. Meaty. M-E-A-T, meaty. Meaty ores. Ores, tons of meat in them. Delicious, nutritious meat ores. Right, let's add one of these in. It's going to be our obstacle. All right, so we got a meteor here. We're going to be avoiding. I want to add a rotation to this thing as well. I want this thing to be slowly rotating in the world. And then we can like shoot it. So it'll be out here rotating slowly, rotating and maybe moving across the screen in some way. So let's, in our meteor here, we're going to add into it, as we've been doing, we're going to add in a script machine. And let's create a new script. And this is going to be like our meteor. I don't know why that word feels so interesting in my mouth today, meteor. This is going to be our really it's like a movement rotation script, but maybe we call it an obstacle controller. An obstacle controller here. The obstacle is going to have a rotation speed and a movement vector, direction vector to it. Because it's going to be moving and interacting in our physics system, we need a rigid body attached to it. Rigid body 2D. We're in 2D land, so we're going to have a rigid body 2D. We don't want gravity to affect this thing. No gravity affecting. I'm wondering if I should make it kinematic. No, I think it needs to be dynamic because it moves. It moves. All right. Let's disable, this thing's gonna rotate, so I don't want any angular drag on it. If we put angular drag on it, rotation will slow down and stop. We're gonna have an we're gonna get rid of the angular drag. And then let's edit our graph here. So I'm gonna pull these off the screen so it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. And when we start this thing up, I want the object to have like a direction of travel. So we're gonna create a vector called speed again. Speed is gonna be a vector 2. It's the thing that can be set per meteor. All right, so I have a vector 2. We start, we're just gonna add that in there. And then we're gonna have a rotation speed. All right, so rotation velocity, speed. We have speed and then rotation speed. And this one's just going to be a float. So it's like, how fast does it rotate around in a circle? How fast? So we want to set the angular velocity on it. And so when we start out, set this to 60 maybe. I'm not sure. That might be really fast. When we start, I don't need to do anything on update. We will have some collision detection on this one. This one's going to have a collider that if we collide with it, something bad can happen. Okay, but let's add in a node. And this node is going to be rigid body 2D dot set angular velocity. And you'll notice angular velocity takes in a float. And we can look at that in the inspector. It says changes to angular velocity in degrees per second, takes in a float. All right, so when we start out, we're going to set our angular velocity to our rotation speed. So this is how fast we're going to rotate. We can watch this happen here. You can see what 60 looks like. There it is. A little hard to see on that, but we'll make it a little bit bigger. We're rotating at that speed. Maybe 60 isn't quite what we want. Maybe we want to be faster. Distron, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a beautiful day, my friend. We'll be back. I'm actually going to be back this afternoon. We're going to be doing lots of prototyping this month in preparation for Learn You a Game Jam. Distron, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you next time. All right, so we're going to set the angular velocity, and then we're going to do a rigid body 2D. Here come the vibes, Vibing Games. Thank you so much for being here. How you been, friend? And we're going to set the velocity here like this. So this is going to be our speed. So when we start out, we're just going to have a speed and a velocity that we move with. Doing awesome vibes, and I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I'm having a ton of fun here with our scripting, visual scripting here. It's been pretty cool here. I'm finding it relatively easy, making simple things. I haven't done anything crazy complex yet. When the platformer was the craziest, I felt like the most complex thing I did. We're building a little space game here, which is, I feel like this will be a really nice introduction. All right, so I'm gonna have this moving downward, so -1 velocity here, and maybe off to the side a little bit, set this one here. So now this thing's gonna rotate and move across the screen in some direction. When it spawns in, we can set it, if we want it to rotate faster, we could. And so my idea here is when this thing spawns in, we're actually going to create a random vector of movement, a random direction of movement for this. So I've set these values like this. I'm wondering if there is an easy way. I guess when I do an on start here, I could do it, but I want to be able to set these values from another script, from another graph. I'm wondering how easy it is to do that. I want to nest an object in another graph. So I want, like this game, I want to be able to spawn these things essentially. I want to be able to spawn these things. I also want to be able to shoot this thing. There's so many things I want to do. Let's start by making it so I can destroy this thing first. So, a couple things. I need it when it hits the player. The player should take damage or be destroyed. And then I also want to make it so that way I can shoot it here, and if I hit it, it destroys it, or reduces its shape maybe. So we have all these different ones as well. So it might make sense to have it reduced to one of these other ones. Not 100% sure what we want to do with it yet, but let's add a collider to this. Let's go ahead and start by adding in a collider. So I'm gonna come down to my meteor here. Call this big meat, Eeyore, M-E-T, not M-E-A-T. And I want to add in a collider. And we're gonna use a polygon collider here as well. I'm gonna zoom in just to see if our polygon collider seems satisfactory. This one feels pretty good. One thing to keep in mind here is, check this out. This is going to collide with our player bounding box. Remember we added the bounding box that keeps the player in this area here, so we can't move any too far up. Right, so our meteor is crashing into that. To fix this, we're gonna make its collider a trigger. This means it won't interact with the physics world, but our physics can know if we are colliding with it. So we can use this to add in a thing, say, hey, are we colliding with a laser? So it moves right through it now. It moves right through our player as well, but we can do some stuff where we can check which strings we're doing. I'm glad you're vibing games. What have you been working on? I know you're always making some cool stuff. What have you been working on lately? Or have you been too busy to work on stuff? I'd be really curious. Okay. So I want to say, if we're colliding with a laser, right, so this is our obstacle controller. We're gonna edit this graph. We want to say on collision, on trigger, enter. Okay, so we're gonna do on trigger, enter. So when this thing collides, and we're in 2D, so we want to do the 2D version. Inside of a code computer. Ooh, the name has me enthralled. Tell me more about that. That name has me excited. What do you do inside of a computer? Tell me about that. Do you have any screenshots that you could share with us? That sounds awesome. And just to make sure, because I know this is a new account for you, make sure you have permission. In case you want to share links, it's okay if you don't. Feel free to post them on the Discord or drop some links here for us to check out. That sounds awesome. The name of the game has me excited. I'm like, ooh, inside of a computer, I like that. So on trigger, enter 2D. If we are colliding with a laser, I want to be destroyed. If we're colliding with a laser, I want to be destroyed. And so there's some interesting things here we have to consider. So let me go into my laser. How do we know we're colliding with a laser? There's a few different ways we could do it. I'm gonna come to my prefab. I'm gonna go to my laser. And what I want to do is, for my laser, I'm gonna add in a tag here. I'm gonna add in a tag. I'm gonna call this one weapon. So this is like a player fired weapon. And so, you know, let me change this name actually. I don't know what I did there. So this tag, can I not rename tags? Ooh, it doesn't let you rename a tag. Player fired, player weapon, player laser. You really can't rename those. Okay. I guess that kind of makes sense. I think. Player weapon here. There's a couple different places you can send it. Probably in share. I guess I don't have just like a chat there anymore. We took it out. Share all. Probably the best place to do it. Share all. And just post a thing with a video here. That'd be great. We'll check it out. Yeah, my Discord, we gotta clean up the Discord a little bit. It's a little bit gnarly, might be a good word to describe it. It has a lot going on in there. Okay. And so on my laser prefab, I'm gonna specify that this happens to be a player weapon. Player weapon. So now when we have a collision happen, we can look at that tag to say, okay, well, What does it have on it? Another way we might do it is we might have some kind of damage amount on a weapon, in which case we would need to say, oh, well, I need to get some variable off that weapon to pull it in. For now, we're just going to go ahead and destroy our meteor. So add this tag here so we can access that in our script. Let me go back into my meteor script. So I have my meteor selected. We're going to go into our script here. And this is controlling our obstacle. We're going to say if on trigger enter, we have a collider. We want to get a tag. Get tag or check tag, get component and get tag. Okay, can I do a get tag on the collider? Can. Right, that's what I want to. So have our collider, we're going to get a tag. We're going to say if we need to do a compare on this tag. Is there a compare option? Tag compare equals to the string. Yeah, this is where like tag. Let's see if they have something to get tag, game object, get tag, returns a string. Okay, so get tag. That's what I have. Oh, we have component game object dot get tag. Go and delete that. Okay. We're going to get the tag on the game object. Thank you for sending it. Let's check it out. Let's check it out inside of a computer. Let's have a little look-see here. You're a person in an office and a virus gets into your computer and you get sucked into the computer and you are your own character that the person made in the game is Billy, by the way. You need to fight all viruses and boss viruses and clear the computer codes from the bugs and viruses. Very cool. Let's check it out. Yo, did you make all the art for this? The player gets sucked in. Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Are you using Blender? I need to learn Blender. I've been talking about I want to learn some Blender. Yeah, I need to learn some Blender. That looks cool. That looks cool. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play it. How long have you been working on it, Vibe? That looks super fun. Just a few days? Okay. All right, so we want to check. I want to check if a string is equal. I need to do a string compare. String. And the tag we are looking, this is why I was so surprised we couldn't change the name of the tag. The tag was player weapon. Okay, so we're gonna say if it was the player weapon. So on trigger, enter. If we end up with a player weapon, we want to destroy the game object. Yeah, I went to the wrong website on the computer. It's true, Radoni. Went to the wrong website, indeed. Yeah, we're PG-11 teen, Radoni, but went to the wrong website, indeed. Yeah. Let's go ahead and add. We're gonna do a destroy the game object. Okay, so if on trigger enter, if we are colliding with a player weapon, we are going to destroy the game object. This is the obstacle here. So we're going to add in a this. Okay, so we should be able to destroy this. Let's try it. If I hit, oh, I don't have a collider on my laser. That's right. So if I come back to my scene, I add a laser in here. There's no body. There's no collision detection on this. So I'm gonna open up my laser here. I'm I'm gonna open up the prefab. And we're just gonna add in to this laser a box collider 2D. So we're just gonna box collider on it. This is gonna be a trigger as well, I believe. So if I don't make it a trigger, here's if I don't make it a trigger, it's gonna get stuck against the side of my bounds as well. We can still destroy things with it, but I want to make it a trigger. So I think, can we have 2? There we go. Yeah, so now my laser will destroy it when it hits it. It's pretty unsatisfying laser destruction, right? Just removes it. Okay. Redoni, be careful. Here it is. This is a PG-11 stream, so we're gonna keep it family friendly, okay? We're gonna keep it family friendly. So just a heads up, yeah, so that's just like one of the rules. We're respectful of each other, and then we're family friendly. Oh, no problem. That's what I was gonna say. Just a PG-11 family friendly stream here. And thank you. Don't worry about it. I know you didn't know. You were just trying to have fun. I know. So, but I teach young kids. So I want to make sure that this is a safe space in case my students find this this stream. Okay. Oh, don't apologize. Nothing to apologize for. You didn't know. But I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate. Where's my? 1 second. Why don't I have that? There it is. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we have a laser now. Our laser can get detection on that. I also think when we hit it, the laser should be removed. We're going to go ahead and remove the laser from the screen as well. And so that's pretty easy to do. Let's go into our graph again. All right, so if we open up our meteor graph, we're going to destroy the meteor, and then we're also going to destroy, in addition to destroying the meteor, we're going to destroy the collider as well. I'm wondering if this will destroy the game object. So in addition to destroying the meteor, we're going to destroy the laser as well. So we're going to get rid of both of them. That's interesting. Do I have to destroy? I wasn't quite sure if the laser got destroyed. No, it didn't. Do I have to change the order? So notice when I destroy this, I think the flow stopped. So I actually think I need to do this first. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm destroying the collider and not the game object on the collider. So let's look at what's happening here. So I'm gonna hit play, and then I'm gonna shoot a laser, and I'm gonna hit pause. So if I open up my laser, we have this box collider here. We have a box collider. One thing to recognize is when I actually hit that the meteor, the laser isn't destroyed, but the box collider is. So what we want to do is we actually want to destroy the box collider, not the box collider. We want to destroy, so this is the collider object coming in. We need to get the object attached to this collider. Get game object. Yeah. So from this collider, we want to get the game object. We're going to destroy the game object. This happens to be the laser itself, not just the laser component, the collider. Let's try that. There we go. Now it destroyed the laser, removed it from the screen. Okay. Not bad. Fire that, laser gets destroyed. Sweet. One thing that would be nice to do here, one thing that could be nice is rather than just completely destroying the asteroid, why don't we make it so that the asteroid meteor changes to a medium, and then a medium changes to a small. So we sort of reduce inside from big, medium, small. So each hit's gonna shrink it down one. All right, make it a little bit harder to hit. Big, medium, small, tiny. Oh, there's 4 here. I like that. Big, medium, small, tiny. So how might we go about doing this? What is our strategy for doing this? In our script, we need to switch between the states. I'm wondering if there's some different ways we could do it. Okay. I think here I am. I have this meteor. This is my big meteor. What I think I want to do, so I have my big meteor here. I think I'm gonna make my big meteor a prefab. And then I'm gonna create some copies of it with a smaller medium. So I have big, medium, small, tiny. Fresh meat, welcome in. Thank you for the daily. Congratulations. I was gonna thank you for congratulations on number 21. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. All right, so let's go ahead and duplicate this, and we're gonna create a medium meteor. Meteor. How have you been? And the big thing I want to do on this, I'm going to swap out my sprite here. My sprite, I want it to be one of the medium meteors. Okay, so I have this. I want to swap this out for the medium meteor. And now our polygon needs to, if I reset it, there it goes. Reset, we'll sort of like rebuild it. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. Bought a house finally. That's my big news. Very cool. Very cool. Congratulations on the house. Congratulations. That's a big step. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's huge news. That's huge news. For that, Fresh Meat, congratulations. 1,000 points to you. Roger. Happy Monday, my friend. I hope you're doing fabulous. How much did it cost, Fresh Meat? Sometimes it's, you don't have, look, if that's a little bit too personal, Fresh Meat, no need to answer, but congratulations. That's awesome. I'm a renter. It was a lot. Yeah, I'm a renter. I've been scared to buy. It's not that I couldn't, I almost bought a house once, and I didn't, and then I move a lot. I end up moving quite a bit. Way more than it should have been. I've heard the price now pretty bad. These are meteors. These are meteors. So let's go back into our scene view here. Go back into our scene view. We're making a space game, like a space shooter. So a space shooter here. This is a meteor. All right, so our player can move around. We shoot the meteor, destroy it. I'm gonna make it so when we hit the meteor, it reduces to a smaller meteor. And the way I'm sort of thinking about doing this is I've created a second prefab. So I have a prefab for my big meteor. Now I have a prefab for my medium meteor. And my idea, so I'm using the same script here. Oh, I need to, hang on. My medium meteor needs to be a trigger. It is not a trigger. So let's make its collider a trigger. Okay. So these are using the same script. All right, so I can shoot these. It reduces to the next one. What I want to do is when I shoot this meteor, it's going to become the medium. So it's going to go smaller. Doesn't have a garden fresh, just Fresh Meat. Yeah, so we're playing around with Unity's visual scripting language. So if I come back into my script here, and my meteor script, let's go ahead and edit this script. This is the script for my meteor. And right now we're just destroying the meteor altogether. I need a space helmet. Yeah, I need to get a space helmet. That's right. And rather than destroying it, I want to switch to the next game object. So it's interesting here, right? It's interesting. I want it to be a script. Prefab instance, prefab definition. Interesting. The definition here. I want it to have, can I put another graph? What if I put graph here? Oh, this will be like next obstacle. When you destroy it, this will be next obstacle. Is there a graph type here? I'm wondering if I can put a graph, because I want to be able to set the speed and vector to match the original. A graph source. So I'm wondering, yeah, so next obstacle. I kind of want to be able to instantiate an object. So I could do it this way. Next obstacle could just be a game object. That's not quite what I want. And I could put my medium asteroid here. So I took my prefab. I just said, oh, it's going to be my medium asteroid. And we're going to destroy this object, and then instantiate this object. Oh, we could do it this way. All right, so I keep thinking I need to, it's interesting, like my programming brain, I think wants to overcomplicate things, make things more modular. I'm realizing, oh, this is actually quite simple. I'm going to get this game object, and we're going to instantiate. And we're going to put it at the game object, instantiate, position, object, rotation. So we're going to destroy our original. And we're going to spawn this prefab in here. And we're just going to do it at the current, we're going to take the current object's position, rotation. Oh, setting the velocity is the challenge. Not really, though. All right, so watch this. Transform dot position. So we're going to take our current position. Don't think we actually need to get a rotation. It wants us to have a rotation. So let's go ahead and get transform dot rotation here. So we're just gonna steal these. Oh, when this thing gets instantiated, it actually sets its rigid velocity and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and instantiate this, set its position. So when we destroy, what's interesting is our subclass here, our medium object. Interesting. Why are these not using the same? Oh, it is the same graph. But now it doesn't have this variable. It's going to yell at us saying we don't have a variable here. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to remove this medium meteor. I'm going to remove the medium meteor. Now let's go back to our scene view. We have this selected. When it gets destroyed, we're going to replace it with the medium meteor. Okay. So I can run this. And I can destroy that, get a small meter, and if I destroy that, I get an exception. Right, I get an exception, and the exception I'm getting is that in my medium meteor, there is no next object. There is no next object, and I'm wondering. Yes, I need to add in, since I want to reuse this script, I need to add in a next object. And next obstacle. Let's do next obstacle. And it's a game object. And it's going to be null. So we should only instantiate it if it's not null. All right, so if I come in here, I'm going to destroy that. Harder to hit that one. The object you want to instantiate is null. Okay, so we need to do a null check. So we're going to add in a null check like this. So I really I think I really like the null check here. The way they do null checks in the scripting language is nice. You don't say if null, you just say, oh, there's a null check here. We're going to say, oh, if this object is not null, we create. So we're going to destroy our game object, and then if we have a next obstacle, we put it in. So now if I run this, I should be able to destroy this and hit that, and it's gone, and we don't get an error. So now going from our medium, so let's open up our medium prefab. And in this prefab, we're just going to create a small and then a tiny. So we have a medium here. It's our medium prefab. The Dev Donut, look at you go. How you been, my friend? How have you been? Nice to see you. How the heck have you been, Dev Donut? What have you been up to? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. You've been busy, I'm assuming. Been over the top. Nice, nice. We're gonna duplicate this. We're gonna make this one a small meteor. Okay, our small meteor here is, we're gonna swap out the sprite renderer. We're gonna make this small for small meteor. The small meteor is not even that much smaller. It is smaller, but not by much. Oh, it is. Look, we do have a different thing here. Let's redraw our points. So we're gonna have this reset here. I don't like that one, but let's make it a trigger, and let's come in and we're gonna adjust this. See if we can get some better collision. It's so small, it really probably doesn't matter all that much, but I can adjust it down nicely here. Like that. I see your visual scripting. How's that going? It's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool. I think it's going to be really useful for my introductory Unity courses to get my... So I teach 2 Unity courses. I teach 3, but really I teach... The third one is like a Unity challenges. It's like a bunch of scripting. It's more of a programming class than a Unity class. I teach a 3D level design class, which has no coding. No coding. It's all about learning how to use Pro Builder, use Cinemachine, and using pre-existing prefabs. So you're learning about how to interact with the scene view, moving things around like that. In the 2D class, I teach, that's 2D, we learn the similar things, interacting in a 2D environment, how sprites work, doing animations, interacting with all the 2D tooling without scripting. And then in the last 4 weeks, we start doing a little bit of C#, and a lot of students fall off at that point. So it's like the first time they've coded. I think Unity, I think in general, starting to learn to program by doing game development is really hard. It's really hard. So I lose a lot of students when we switch to scripting. And just because there's so much, I think it might be a nice transition to start them, you doing visual scripting and then transition so they can see the translation from visual scripting to the code. And one thing I think is really nice about the scripting language, the visual scripting, is we can just really watch how these things flow through here. So let me go ahead and select, let me show you here. Go back into my game, I select my player. One thing that's really cool, my game is running and you can watch how the data flows through this. This is my player movement controller. And if I zoom in, it's probably kind of hard to see here, but we can see all of the values here. So we see like this is saying, oh, by the way, speed happens to be 10. Our vector 2 here, we can watch, this is getting our horizontal input, our vertical input. We can watch these values change live. I find it harder than coding, but that's because my mind, I'm pretty sure it's because I'm already used to coding. I think it is easier to get started this way. It's less intimidating. It's built right into the inspector. Debugging, you can see how the data flows through. You can see these numbers. What do these numbers mean? What does it mean to multiply a vector by 10? So we have our input vector here. And if I pause, apparently pausing doesn't do what I want. That's okay. I can watch these values scale based on these things. So think about it from a person who has never done any coding, doesn't know what a float is, doesn't know what a vector is. This shows you the shape of the data and the transformations that are happening to the data, as well as the flow of logic. So these green arrows represent, so and then there's like this trend line. The green arrows represent your semicolon in your programming language, the flow, how, so like top to bottom. We read left to right here, but in code, I'm thinking already like, how would we translate this to code? So if the students can do this pretty effectively, write some cool stuff this way, can they start writing code doing this? And I think this is a little bit easier. Like me, I really like the teaching. I'm glad you like it, Radoni. I want to try and put together a course. My goal this summer is to produce one course. I made one course last summer. It's not on Udemy. It's just like a YouTube series. My goal is to make another course this summer. So Deb, I think this is a good gateway into scripting. I think it's so visual scripting. I think it's a good gateway into writing code. And so getting students to be able to visualize this, because in my mind, in my head, I already have all of this stuff. Like this is sort of how in my brain, it's already doing a lot of these things. XPA, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Unique username there, Maria. Expa Maria. Expa Maria. Thank you for following me today. Thank you for the follow. All right, so I like this a lot. The other thing, let's go look at our other script on our player. So our player also has a script for firing. This one's a little bit different. So you see on this event, notice nothing's happening here, but when I click, this is super cool. Lo-Fi Craft, thank you for the hat. Let's get a hat on this head. Get my thinking cap on. It's really cool to watch this again when debugging. It's really cool to watch this. When I click to fire, look at how all of this stuff flows through the graph. It's so cool. I got a whip too. Yeah, Indiana Captain, Indiana Coder. I love watching all the data flow through this. It's really cool. Lo-Fi Craft, this is, I did a little bit yesterday, but yeah, I'm learning in the spirit of Learn You a Game Jam, which is this month. This is Game Jam month, folks. Captain Coders Learn You a Game Jam. I hope you all will join. The goal isn't to make an awesome game. The goal is to learn a lot. So I hope you will consider joining Learn You a Game Jam this month. It's coming up. It's 2 weeks of fun. The idea is you should spend a week maybe trying to make your game, and then spend a week writing what you learned, sharing it with the community. Look, this guy's gonna explain it to us. This guy will explain it to us. Hello and welcome to Captain Coder's Learn You a Game Jam. I am Captain Coder. Captain Coder is me, and me is a computer science educator, and Captain Coder wants you to learn something new about game dev, whether it's your first time programming, whether it's the first time doing pixel art, whether it's the first time making music, whether it's the first time working on a team. I want you to learn something new, because in this community, we learn and code and grow together as a crew. In this game jam, the goal isn't to make the best game possible. The goal is to learn as much as possible, and I believe you can do it. And when you submit a game to this game jam, you are encouraged to also submit a devlog, blog, or vlog describing the resources you used, what you learned, and how others can utilize it. That said, just by submitting a devlog, vlog, or blog, you are entered to win $50. We're going to be doing 5 drawings here. 5 unique people will win $50 just
for
by
entering
learning something new and sharing it with the community. Additionally, myself and 2 other guest judges will be reviewing all of the devlogs, vlogs or blogs, to see which one we think is the most educational, and one beautiful person is going to win $200.
You don't have to be beautiful to win.
And it could
Disclaimer.
be you just for learning something. So join the Discord, check us out on Twitch, and we hope you have a wonderful time with this game jam. We'll see you there.
Yeah. Join the game jam. It's gonna be awesome. Sorry, that music was probably crazy loud. Napalm, welcome back to the stream. Great to have you here. Yeah, we're gonna do, this is our second Captain Coder Learn You a Game Jam. We did one last year, had a ton of fun with it. $750 in prizes for this game jam, so please consider joining. Just for learning something. You don't win by making a game that wins first in the vote. You win by sharing what you learned with the community. 2 people are gonna win $250. 5 people are going to win $50, $750 in prizes, folks. It's going to be awesome just for learning something. And so this month, every day, my goal is to learn something new. Right now, I'm learning about visual scripting in Unity. I've never done it. I've been kind of intimidated by it before and had a lot of trouble with it. But I'm actually really liking it. I'm really liking this. Okay, so we have it so we can destroy this, and then gets down into a smaller one as well. We're going to add in small and medium. So we are working on our medium. So our medium asteroid, when we destroy the medium asteroid, it is going to go to a, right here, the next voxel is going to be our small asteroid. Napalm codes, right? The whole point is, got to get over that hurdle. Got to get over that first step. Just go do it. Just go make something, make it happen. That's the first step, is just getting past that, going and doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Hang tight real quick, everyone. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I missed it. I have a lot of fun now because I am learning how to make avatars for a game called VR Chat. It's a Unity game, but I still need to install Unity for the VR Chat SDK. Very cool. I learned how to make avatars for a VR game. That sounds really fun. All right, let's test this. If I destroy that, we get a smaller one. Get an even smaller one. Okay, and then finally it destroys it. Let's add in a tiny meteor now. And so we got our small meteor here. Let's add in a tiny meteor. All right. I need to learn Blender. That's on my to-do list of learning adventures for this month. Let's add in a small. Let's find tiny now. Lance, welcome to the stream. All of those in one. That's hilarious. All right, add in a tiny one here. Lance, how the heck have you been? All right, so we're gonna take this. We're gonna set this tiny meteor. We need to reset our polygon, so it'll reshape. We'll reset it here. That's pretty close in my mind. It's a trigger. Okay, and then our small meteor is gonna produce a. Oh, this needs to be called tiny meteor, like this. Yeah, I used Blender many years ago. I think it was Blender 1, maybe. Many years ago. This is like 2002, 2003. And I made some simple stuff in it. All right, so now we have that. Let's try, let's make this bigger. And we got 1 meteor, 2 meteor, 3 meteor. Oh, it didn't reduce there. Hang on, I need to add that into, I think I did it in the wrong. I think I made my medium there. Let's get another hat. Shy programmer with the hats. Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you for the hat, Shy Programmer. Boom. Perfect. Easy. Easy. All right. My tiny meteor goes to nothing when it's destroyed. My small meteor goes to tiny when it's destroyed. Let's test it out now. Boom, boom, boom. Oh man, that tiny meteor is tough to get. So we will be building again for educational purposes, then send the video for prize. Exactly. And it can be just a written documentation for prize. It doesn't have to be a video. Thank you for this. Another hat. Let's get another hat on the stack. Bonus hat. Thank you so much for the bonus hat. Boom. There it is. There it is. So if we take a look here, there's 2 prizes. Well, there's 7 prizes. There are 7 prizes. Here are the prizes. Oh, Napalm with another hat. Let's get another hat on this stack. Boom. Easy. Easy. There we go. Thank you for the hats. So there are 7 prizes just for submitting. Dev Donut, thank you for the hat. I'm gonna get through this sentence, I promise. I'm gonna get through this thought, I promise. Here we go. Thank you for the hats. So, with the Q list. All right, we'll do a Q list. I got it right here. My Q list. We'll get it in. Thank you, Lo-Fi Craft. I want to explain the prize structure just real quick. If just for submitting a blog or a vlog, a video blog or a written blog, you are entered to win a $50 prize. So just by entering, you have a chance to win one of the $50 prizes. So there's going to be five of those drawn. Additionally, there will be a most educational prize for the best written blog, the most educational blog, and then the most educational video, or I should put video or podcast. So there's going to be a written one, and then someone who does the best video / audio will also win $250. So super exciting. Last year, it was so hard. Last year, we just did one $250. It was so hard to decide between the written and the video that I decided we needed a 2 different categories this year. All right, let's get this Q list going. Thank you for the Q list redeem. Thank you for the Q list redeem. Let's turn this light off a little bit. It's too bright over here. Let's adjust the lighting. Wrong button. Just change the type of lighting. There we go. All right, thank you for the Q list redeem. Let's do it. Let's do it. So Q list is a word puzzle game. Lo-Fi Craft, thank you so much for redeeming Q list. Our goal here is we got to take these letters and we have to, the mic also changes in the scene. Oh, it's harder to hear me. It's because I'm standing off to the side. That's why. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? Crap time! Welcome to the stream. Let's get another hat on the stack. Thank you so much for the hat. It's because I'm off to the side, I think is what it is. All right. So we have to combine all these letters Scrabble style, so 2D grid. We have to combine all of these. We have to use all of these. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Lo-Fi Craft redeemed a Q list for us, so we're going to see if we can finish a Q list. And Immortal Kid, welcome back to the stream. So for example, I might do rap here like this, and then I might do hat this way. All of the words have to be 3-letter words, so I couldn't do pod like this. I could do pod, but 2 is not a word. TO is not a valid word. It has to be at least 3 letters. So every word has to be at least 3 letters. So it's scrambled. Yeah, I roll this. It's called, and then there's no Q's. So we have the word ton. All right, we can try ton. Longer words tend to be better because we want to space out our vowels as much as possible. But ton is a good one. All right. Can we get a whole horde, horp, hop, hob, hock, hoa? See if we can build. Let's see if we can write a word here that gets this in all the way. Only 2 vowels is tough. TH. We might be able to do something with TH. Thorn. Thorn. There we go. Thorn. See if we can get another word. Chopper. Get to the chopper. Is chopper a word? We got chap might be a word. Horn. Yeah, we got thorn in there already. Horn. Oh, we don't have a Y. I was gonna say canopy could be one. Horn's not bad, but we got thorn in there, so I like the T on it. Corn. So we could swap that out if we want to reuse these. So we could do than over here. Then lob. Corn is okay. I like corn because then we can reuse this somewhere else. So we have like these options of how we do it, right? Horn, TH. We might do it this way as well. All right, so corn is not bad. Corn. Then like that. Here we go. I can pull it down. Chaldron is what is chaldron a word? I've never heard of that one. Cauldron. I don't think we have all the letters for that. We need a U. Bar. B-A-R. That one's hard because we still have to be able to use all of these things. Chord. Could do chord. Let's get a word with this O in here. Chaldron. Chaldron is a real word. Okay, I like that. That uses a lot of our letters. Chaldron. We're gonna see if this is we gotta double check. We're gonna check the Scrabble dictionary. I've never seen it spelled this way. Let's go check the Scrabble dictionary. Scrabble dictionary. I don't think that is a valid word, but we'll find out. Chaldron. Chaldron is a valid word, a unit of dry measure. I've never heard of a chaldron, but there we go. There you go. It is it's a unit of measure that's equal to 36 bushels. All right. So that makes it a little bit easier. So now we can just do bar and top. Boom. We did it. Lo-fi craft. Yeah, we can do bat is hard, but then we can par or rop. I'm gonna go with bar and top. Chaldron, bar, and top. Nicely done. Lo-fi craft, thank you so much for the redeem. Let's add this to our Q-list Hall of Fame. Our Q-list Hall of Fame. Let me get a screenshot here. Boop. Copy to my clipboard. Let's add this to the Q-list Hall of Fame. Let's get our Discord open. Where'd the Discord go? Where my Discord at? Q-list Hall of Fame. There it is. Q-list Hall of Fame. Boom. It'll live forever in the Discord. Discord will probably be discontinued at some point, somewhere. So I imagine this actually will live for quite some time, but maybe not forever. Just try and suggest. No, I love this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Highly recommend Q-list if anyone can find a copy and pick it up. Fabulous game. Lo-fi Craft, thank you so much for suggesting it. For everyone, we made it through. We managed to get points for all of your help. 500 points to everybody. Thank you guys so much for helping with the Q-list. Now back to our regularly scheduled visual scripting. Yeah, don't forget, join the Game Jam, folks. Join the Game Jam. I can't wait to see you guys there. I can't wait to see what you guys make. Can't wait to see what you guys learn and share with the community. Okay. So we have our script here. We can shoot this and destroy it. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller as we hit it. Not bad. One thing I would like to be able to do is notice this thing. If I come into my scene here, my big meteor, if I change the direction that this thing is traveling. Okay, so let's have this go the opposite direction. When I destroy this, I want these to continue traveling in the direction that it was going previously. And I'm not quite sure how to do this. I need to be able to pass a parameter. I know how to do this if I did it in a C# script in a mono behavior. But in my script machine, I need to be able to pass a value in and set a variable on the next component. Okay. And it needs to be based off the parent component. So I'm gonna have my parent component actually start up, randomly generate a velocity and a rotation. So let's do that real quick. So let's go into my Meteor here. Let's open up our script. So this is my Meteor script here. You can't start without a theme. Well, it doesn't start until June 19th. It doesn't start until June 19th, but suggest a theme. You can suggest a theme. So it hasn't started yet. We got 16 days until it starts. So get excited, but suggest your themes here. Submit a theme suggestion, and we'll do a vote. There'll be a vote on the theme probably the week before, maybe a couple days before as well. Smithy GMX, what a cool name, Smithy. Smithy, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Academy. Smithy, thank you so much for being here. So when our asteroid, when our meteor starts here, it gets a random, it doesn't get a random, it gets a rotation, it gets a speed. What I want to actually have happen is I want this to be random. I want it to be randomized here. So I want to set these to a value. RPG would be fine. It's going to come, you can put anything in there and then people will vote on it. People will vote on it. It can be a little bit more abstract than that if you want. It doesn't have to be. So something like hack and slash, what might be a good theme. RPG could be a nice general theme. People might really like it because it's so general. People might want something more specific, like what would be, blue would be another abstract one. RPG actually might be too specific in some ways. It might be a little bit too specific. I don't know. Go ahead and submit it. Yeah, any theme suggestions are valid, as long as they're family friendly, of course. GT, welcome back. Great to see you, my friend. I hope you're having a beautiful day. So we're gonna randomly generate a rotation speed. All right, random. Get rotation. Ooh, that's kind of cool. We can just get a random rotation like that. That's neat. And we can pass it in. Oh, I actually just want a random float. All right, that's not quite what I want. I want a random float. Random float. Random float. Random.next. Range. Random.range. Min and max. Okay. Min and max. Random.range. And then we're gonna, so we need to do this first. So we get a random value. We're gonna propagate that into setting our angular velocity. So min will be negative, so left and right, negative 120 to positive 120. So we'll get a random velocity. That's not too specific at all, Wrap Time. That's perfectly specific enough. Perfectly specific enough. All right, so now when this thing starts up, every time it starts, it'll be rotating differently. Oh, it should be. Oh, I didn't connect this. Hang on. We got to connect this here to our set angular velocity. There we go. It started that way. We'll start it differently. Now it's rotating like that. Now it's rotating like that. Ooh, let's make it even potentially faster. Negative 360 to 360. So it can be rotating really fast, but the rotation is now random, which is nice. Yeah, a whole game jam of just tower defense would be interesting. So each time I hit one of these, the velocity, the rotation will be random. My portal, I didn't finish portal. I got the teleport, I got one directional portals working. So like that works. I didn't set up the script to teleport back. That's funny, it rolled out there. But I have one directional portal, so if I were to rotate this portal this way, now it would come out that direction. If I were to rotate this 90 degrees like that, so it's whatever the rotation is, shoot it out that way. So I have the teleport part of the portal working. There's a lot of edge cases here. What if my object doesn't go all the way through the portal? What if it's just standing on the edge, sitting on the edge? So there's some weird things I got to deal with that. So I have, I think, a reasonable start to my portals for mechanically challenged, but I'm definitely not done with it by any means. And I'll be working on that later in the month, I'm sure. Ooh, no, I haven't done a tower. I actually haven't done a tower defense game in years. When I was in undergrad, I did a tower defense game in Java. Sorry, everyone. I said the J word. So notice the rotation is going to be different. It goes big to the medium to the small is wild how much it gets there. You remember it was more about watching Lord of the Rings than making a game. It's true. This is true. You were there. I remember that. Now I recall. The forbidden language. Yeah, people seem to hate Java. It's not my first choice, but I think Java's fine. All right, so now I want to get a... What's interesting is because I'm doing this randomly, kind of don't need this anymore. I'm wondering if, yeah, got the projection working, but you can still see the other portals in the screen, each portal bug. Let's take a look. I'm excited to see your solution, GT. I think a lot of people are gonna have fun with this. Oh boy. It's saying all right, well that didn't work. Okay, so I can't watch it because I have ad blocker on. And so if you want to, you can post it on the Discord though. You can post it on the Discord. They won't let me view it with the ad blocker. But if you want to post it on Discord, we can take a look. Okay. Yeah, too much adult content in ads, so I got to be careful with it. So the speed here, I want to get a random, okay, so I need to create a vector 2 literal. Well, it's not going to be a literal. I need to be able to, we're passing in a vector 2 to this. I need to be able to create like this. We're going to pass in 2 random values to it. Yes, 2 random values to it. You can add in, they call them sticky notes, but yes. So note some, yeah, so it's not, they're not called comment nodes, but they're called sticky notes. Some comments here. Yeah. Take a look at that on the Discord. Thank you. Ooh, this looks awesome. This is an Unreal. It looks like an Unreal game. This looks great. This looks great. Let me get, let me see if I can open this. There it is. That looks awesome. I love the like motion blur. That's just like part of the built-in, but really, really cool job with the, with looking through the portal. It looks like you're almost done with just looking through the portals. So cool. So cool. I'm really looking for it. Are you doing it with Blueprints, GT, or are you doing it in C++? I may end up doing my my portal solution in Blueprints. That would be funny, I think. So we're gonna create this vector and pass it in here like this. We still have to create it. So we're gonna set the velocity, and then this will go in here like that. Okay, and these are gonna come from some random values. Random, can I do a random vector? No. I do need to get a random range. So we're going to do 2 random values here. That I don't know. Apparently I can do, I just discovered if I hold down control, it creates a group. I didn't know, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know I could do that. Vector used in C++, that's what vector is. Vector is a dynamic array in C++. And in other language, in many languages actually. Ooh, we have to, that makes sense that we have to call this. That makes sense. And we have to call it, has to do it this way. Science, how you been, friend? How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. And this goes to our X value. This will go to our Y value. Yeah, stuff like this feels super awkward to me. Yeah, the way we have to sort of attach these things up. I'll have this come down here so that the arrows, I just want the arrows to feel better. Made it home, Captain. How are you? I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Your trip looked so much fun. What was your favorite part, Science? Folks, also be sure to give Science Streams a follow. Incredible science communicator. If you love the world of science, if you love the outdoors, if you love having fun, be sure to give Science a follow. Incredible stuff going on over there. So we're going to do a random vector here. And we're going to do -2 to 2. -2 to 2. This will create a random vector for us like that. And I'm noticing like things like this could be abstracted out into small things. Okay, so now when we start up, it's going the other direction. Let's make it so that we can only, our Y velocity should be always be going down. So it should be -2 to 0. So it's always gonna be coming down on the screen. If we have a positive, it can be moving away from the player. We want it always coming down. Now, every time I destroy an asteroid, it switches direction. That's not what I want. And that's because on this start, it's randomly generating a speed and on both rotation and vector. I want it to continue in the direction and rotation it had before. So I want to, when we destroy this thing, I want it to actually change. I want it to copy the value from the previous one. I want it to copy the values from the previous one. I want to take the angular rotation and the angular velocity and the actual linear velocity from the previous one and pass it through. Right now, we just instantiate it. And so I'm not quite sure what to do here. Set variable, set graph variable. So I think this is setting the graph. Oh, can I specify the object? No, this is the variable I'm gonna set. This would be an object variable. Okay, maybe I can. Maybe I can do this. Okay, this is interesting. Set object variable. Which object? This is the new object. New object. And we can specify the name of the variable, or we can do a new one. Okay. And so I want to have a variable that says whether or not I should randomly generate one or copy the value. Copy the value. I think the Marine Research Center was the coolest. Awesome. Awesome. And then tell me, if you can, if you're busy, that's fine. I'm gonna say, what was the what did you learn? What was the coolest thing you learned? I know the marine sciencing was awesome, but yeah, it looked like so much fun. I wasn't able to tune in to everyone, but I had a lot of fun watching when I could. And so I actually want to add in a object variable here, which is should randomize is random. All right, this is going to be a Boolean. And by default, it's true. And what we're going to say is if it's should be random, we're going to say set is random on this object, and we want the is random to be false. So we want to create a Boolean literal that's false. We're going to set is random to false. Okay, so we'll have this is random. Let's get rid of rotation speed. Let's get rid of regular speed. We're going to set the is random to false. And what we'll do here is in our event start, we're going to add in a condition. We're going to add in a condition here. If I group these, move this whole chunk together, it's kind of cool. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Rename this randomize rotation and velocity. All right, so this whole thing is going to randomize the rotation and velocity. Okay, cool. I wish I could resize that window. I have to do it this way. If I add something else in there, it doesn't add in. Okay. Randomize rotation and velocity. And what I want to do is I want to add in an if. We're going to say if we is random, randomly generate these things. So if it's random, we're going to go ahead and randomly generate these. When we spawn our child here, we set is random to false. Yeah, so we're not going to randomize when we make a subcategory. So what's interesting here is this first one's going to be random. Oh, maybe not. Is random was not found. I wasn't editing my prefab. Was I? No, I am. I am editing my prefab. Is random. Variable not found is random. In my big meteor. I don't need you. Valid operation variable not found is random. Should have an object variable. Oh, I have. Okay, that's doing set variable. Get object variable. Super weird. Let's go into my scene view. Big meteor. Okay, doesn't have that. Let's. Okay, it wasn't using the prefab version. I undo it. So in my scene, here I am in my scene. If I select my meteor, its objects were set to the previous. I can say, okay, well, let's reset you to the prefab. So I'm using a prefab. So I said, go ahead and reset yourself to the prefab. Okay. What's going to be interesting here is do my prefabs each have this, or do I have to go through and edit each one? So that feels painful. All right, let's try here. So I get a random. If I destroy this, okay, that it did go through. So the prefab, it's using the one. I didn't get any errors. You'll notice it has no velocity because I set is random to false. So it doesn't randomize what it's doing on each one of those. So now in my script here, when there's a couple things I can say, if false, we set things, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say in my node, when I actually destroy this thing, this is getting long. So this is only, you know, this, we're going to do the null check. If we have a child, if we should spawn another meteor, we do it here. We set that it shouldn't be random. And now I need to set the angular velocity and the rigid, the linear velocity and the angular velocity. So I'm going to do rigid body 2D. So interesting. Searching through this is hard. Rigid body. If you know what to look for, velocity. So we need a set of velocity, and we also need to rigid body 2D dot set angular velocity. So these two things. We have to do these two things. And we're gonna do it based on the current object's velocity and angular velocity. We're gonna copy it from there. So we're gonna do rigid body 2D dot get velocity. All right, so we just copy the velocity, and then rigid body 2D dot get angular velocity. Okay, so we're gonna get the angular velocity, we're gonna get our current velocity. So now whatever velocity the idea is whatever velocity we had previously should continue here. So it's gonna copy that into the child, I believe. All right, so it should keep going. It didn't, which is a little sad. And it's because we're setting it on this, which is the asteroid we just destroyed, the meteor we just destroyed. We're setting it. This needs to be our new. I can't attach this here. Oh, I can. Interesting. Can I do that? I can. Okay. So what's interesting is I'm wondering if I can put like subnodes. So notice, I hate that I'm like passing this value through like that. Notice the screen. I don't hate that I'm passing. I hate that it's hard for me to see if I put it like this. Where's it coming from? All right, so I could pull it up like that and pull it out and over like this. So one thing I find messy is these things. So I'm wondering if there's a way to add a node, just like a pass-through node that lets me reshape. So like this, I want to create another node up here. I'm wondering if can I just do expose. It's interesting. I want to just have a node that's like a pass-through node. It's interesting that I can do that. Yeah, I really just want. Essentially, this is going to be a rigid body 2D variable. I want to actually expose the whole thing. Although this is kind of cool. There's so many things here. I wish I could hide some of them. Okay, so then I kind of don't need to do this. No, I still do, because I need to set it to that object. Ah, that's too bad. Control, but I don't really want to do a select. This would be like a little cache. I don't want to do a cache. I just want to variable. Set flow variable. Well, then I have to add this in. Yeah, it's so weird. So really, this is what I want. I wish there was a nicer way to do this. And so maybe I'll do a little bit of research on how to do that. But this is pretty nice right here. I believe this will work. Let's try it. Make sure this is what I want. Destroy that. Yeah, so now notice it keeps the angle as we're coming in here. Keeps the rotation, keeps the angle. A little bit hard to see because my screen's so small. We do this here. It keeps that speed, whatever it was. Whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Whatever it was, and it'll generate new. The first one's random. And then the children just get that inherited, it passed it down from the parent there. Okay. All right, some great progress today on this space game. I'm gonna be back later today. We're gonna wrap up here. I'm gonna be back later today. We're promoting Captain Coder's Learn You a Game Jam. So when I'm done with work this afternoon, I'll be back online. My exact schedule's a little bit anomalous, a little bit flabby might be the right word. I'm not sure, but a little bit floppy. Also, the Dolphin, I'm sorry I missed you there, but welcome into the stream. Hi, I'm a Dolphin. It's great to have you here. I'm sorry I missed you. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up here because I gotta get to work. We're super close to having a playable game. We gotta spawn some things in here. Looking forward. Got your themes in? Nice, Lance. I'm glad to hear it. So, folks, be sure to sign up for Learning a Game Jam. If you want to know when I'm going to be streaming later today, I'll be posting when I know here. I'll send it like it. Essentially, it's going to be, what is that? Around. Hey, thank you, Lance, with the last minute hat. Awesome. I will be back around 2 o'clock Pacific in the U.S. So that's 5 o'clock Eastern. Time, so I'll be back for a couple hours then. Just promoting Captain Coder's Learn You a Game Jam because I want you guys to be there. It's going to be a huge success, and I can't wait to have so much fun with all of you. Let's find someone to raid out to. Here. Suggestions, I'm open to them. But yeah, feel free to send suggestions along. We can do JD. We did JD yesterday. Full box we haven't done in a while. Magatron's pretty fun. Always a fun stream over there. But here are some of our options. We could go look for someone new as well. Auroral game. Oh, playing Diablo 4, not doing stream. We could do Proton. Proton's often doing coding 3D on Commodore 64. Let's do Proton. We haven't rated Proton in forever. Proton's always giving us raids, so we're gonna check Proton out. All right, folks, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Remember to keep coding, keep growing, keep being the best you can be. We will be back tonight. We'll be back in a couple hours. But thank you guys so much for being here. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you guys later today. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.